Chapter 11:10. I can tell that you have come from afar. Why don't you come to my house as guests? Meng Yi sent out an invitation. These people did not look like good people, and if he could rope them into his camp, he would definitely make a killing. The main thing was to deal a blow to Yi Xing, so why not? How could I? I'm sorry to trouble you, young master. Long Outyin said politely. It's no trouble at all. It's fate that brought us together. Everyone, I'll treat you to the best dishes and wine. Please. Meng Yi smiled and opened his folding fan. Lord Ju silently nodded his head. He would first go and get some food and a place to stay, then observe the situation. After all, we don't have money on us. Long Outyin knew this as well, so he did not intend to reject it. In fact, if Yi Xing had tried to persuade him just now, he might have gone as well. Unfortunately, this fellow only knew how to show off. Then I'll have to trouble you, young master. Long Outyin cupped his hands and said. He followed Meng Yi into the city. Meanwhile, Meng Yi's gaze landed on Death Assassin. He felt that within this group, this was the worst. Most importantly, he wanted to invite this black robe. Death Assassin originally wanted to touch the stone tablet, but in the end, he did not manage to do so. Fortunately, he did not manage to loot it. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. The Death Assassin was originally summoned from the abyss. It was unknown what kind of bad things he did in his previous life that he ended up in the abyss. With this touch, it would definitely be 10 stars. At that time, Yi Xing would definitely regret it so much that his intestines would turn green. Originally, he had thought that they were minor characters. In the end, they were all major characters. A bronze contestant trying to act cool in front of few kings was nothing more than a clown. There was nothing to fear, the kind that didn't even bother with them. Only after walking into the vile city did Long Outyin realize that the people here, there were so many of them. Just what kind of city is this evil men's city? It is actually so flourishing. He thought that he would see a fight on the street as soon as he came in, but this was the scene he saw. It was really incomprehensible. The group of people followed Meng Yi and observed their surroundings. This was the first time he had entered the city after coming here for so long. It was as if he had entered an ancient film set. It was a very strange feeling. Even Meng had a curious look on her face. However, a few kilometers away from the city, there was another team preparing to enter the city. Naturally, it was Qing Yutong's team. Qing Yutong recognized Long Outyin. After all, she had met him once at home. That Long Outyin wanted to eat both big and small, but in the end, he was killed by Yi Hua instead. However, right now, Yi Hua had already forgotten about Long Outyin. Rin Yao, your hair hasn't grown out yet. Yang Haotian couldn't help but tease her. Rin Yao touched his bald head. Under the light, it was almost reflective. Yang Haotian, if you talk about my hair again, I'll make sure you don't have any hair on your body. Rin Yao shouted in a deep voice. It was obvious that this was not the first time Yang Haotian had teased Rin Yao about her hair. This big Luo Dan really couldn't help but want to tease him a little. Yi Zizi and the others were sitting in the carriage at the back. Yi Zizi poked her head out and asked, Luo Dan, have you arrived yet? Yang Haotian spread his hands. I'm not the only one saying this. If you have the ability, go and shout at these women. A smile immediately appeared on Rin Yao's face. Big sister, we're only a few kilometers away. Hurry up. Really, you're so slow. You have no sense of time at all. Yi Zizi let out a soft snort and retreated back into the carriage. Hi, Lu Dan, Yang Haotian shouted again. Scram. Braised egg. I heard you have a poached egg? Rin Yao tightly clenched her fists. Inside that poached egg is filled with energy that was bred, and it was actually stomped into a poached egg by me. Just thinking about it makes me so angry. Kaiyan, how about we have a competition later on and see who can kill more people? Yi Zizi was already impatient. It has been a long time since I had a chance to massacre a city. It was as if I had returned to the time back then. Brett did not make a sound. I'm not interested in massacring a city. I'm only interested in experts. Yuhua was also not interested, but she did not oppose it either. All right, but you can't be shameless and use the absorption skill. Kaiyan naturally knew about Yi Zizi's ultimate move. That move was akin to cheating. This is my skill. Why can't I use it? Yi Zizi was unconvinced. If you have the ability, you can use this skill too. Qing Yutong said in a low voice. All right. After we enter the city, let's take a look at the situation first. Don't go in and start fighting. Why? It's not like killing people in the city is against the law. Why can't I kill them? Yi Zizi refuted. It wasn't easy for me to get this kind of opportunity, so how can I let it go? Because I have to carry out brother-in-law's logic. Qing Yutong straightforwardly brought out Yihua. Only Yihua would be able to make Yi Zizi and Kaiyun listen to him. As expected, after bringing out Yihua, Yi Zizi and Kaiyun did not speak anymore. The few kilometers of journey passed by very quickly, and they finally arrived at the city gate. Brett opened the curtains and took a look. It's merely SOSO. Yi Zizi and the others also took a look at the city wall. This place is too poor, right? Don't they have the money to renovate it? Will there still be people coming to the city? Yang Haoyan, what are you lining up for? Qing Yutong shouted out. Big sister, don't worry. This is to check the evil person index. Evil person index. The five women looked towards the city gate once again. They saw that everyone who wanted to enter the city had to leave their handprint on the gate. It seems like the more stars there are, the better. I'm going to play. Yi Zizi straightforwardly jumped off the carriage. I finally found something fun to do. When Yang Haoyan saw Yi Zizi jumping out of the carriage, he was instantly excited. The red packet on his little, but refused to fall no matter what. So annoying. However, I can't even enter the city gate. Stealing red packets is impossible. Big sister, how about I go? Yang Haoyan shouted out fawningly. He no longer dared to shout Shuang. I'm really afraid that I'll be sucked to death. Yi Zizi could be seen jumping around with a lollipop in her mouth. This was the flavor of a loli that the uncle liked. At the very least, when other people saw Yi Zizi cutting the queue, they didn't say anything. Such an adorable child. It represented innocence, purity, and love. Look at those two ponytails. They're bouncing around rhythmically. If I grab them with both hands, what kind of effect would there be? Very quickly, Yi Zizi came to the side of the stone tablet and looked at the others pressing on the gate. It's too low. I didn't even see anyone with 2 stars, let alone someone with high stars. Little friend, where's your family? This guard seemed to be quite nice and asked. Yi Zizi answered, then looked at the stone tablet and said faintly, they're all dead. The people at the side were a little surprised. Such an adorable child actually lost his parents. Among them, there was a fat uncle. He really wanted to say, child, don't be afraid. From now on, I will be your father. Fortunately, this fat uncle only thought about it and didn't do it. If he really did it, his body would definitely be crushed into pieces. Child, this place is very dangerous. It's better for you to go back. The guard persuaded. Such an adorable child, if he entered the city, he would most likely become the pet of a big character. At that time, how pitiful would he be? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:11. Yi Zizi asked innocently, why should I go back? It's fun here. It's not fun here. People die every day. The guard explained. He had to correct this child's values. That's great. I like to see people die every day. Let me give a massage. Before the guard could react, Yi Zizi pressed on the corpse. Before the guard could react, Yi Zizi had already touched the stone tablet. This child, why are you so? Before he could finish his sentence, the stone tablet could be seen to tremble slightly. A star popped up in front of him. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This child was actually an evil person. How is this possible? Such a naive child was actually a 1-star villain. Then what is called naive? How should I define this word in the future, this kind of child? As everyone sighed, the evil person index continued to rise. 5 stars. Everyone's legs turned cold. This child actually has 5 stars. These 5 stars were still going up. Everyone's jaws were about to drop to the ground. Especially this guard. He didn't know how to think at all. His evil person index was now 8 stars. This is a miracle. This little girl is actually a demon. I completely couldn't tell at all. The smile on his face and the lollipop in his mouth were all fake. However, the stars on the stone tablet were actually full. His evil person index had reached 10 stars. Oh my God, what kind of girl was she? Yi Zizi was a little dissatisfied. Why were there only 10 stars? She could fill it up with a few hundred more. However, the stone tablet seemed to be able to hear Yi Zizi's voice as it was shaking violently. Everyone disperse. The guard shouted. Yi Zizi was the first to run away, and the surrounding people also quickly ran away. With a bang, the stone tablet instantly exploded, turning into small stones. Everyone was shocked. This stone tablet had been standing here for thousands of years, and no one had ever blown it up. He actually blew it up today. Where did that little girl go? Where did the culprit go? Right now, the main culprit was already hiding inside the carriage, and he was even hiding inside Qing Yutong's bosom. Wah, the outside is so scary, it scared me to death. Everyone, Brett said lightly, act as hard as you can. Big-breasted girl, what are you talking about? I'll rip you apart. Hee, flat-breasted girl. No matter how much you stuff it, it won't become bigger. You. Kai Yin went into a daze for a moment. He suddenly realized that Yi Zizi seemed to be a bit bigger today. What a good idea. Kai Yin silently looked down, then looked at Yu Hua, then looked at you, and looked at Yu Tong, and looked at you, and looked at Yu Hua. Yu Hua, Qing, Yi, and Brett Yi I and Hai. It seemed that he really needed to stuff something in. The outside was already in an uproar. Without the steel, how are we going to enter the city? Some of the guards hurriedly went to report to the city lord. They couldn't make a decision on such a matter. The residence of the city lord was naturally filled with people who had committed heinous crimes. Ali inside, he said I. The one sitting in the middle was the city lord, Mu Hong. He had the cultivation of a supreme being, but of course he was the lowest kind of supreme being. He had a long beard, but it was not white. Instead, it was black, but his hair was white, giving off a very strange feeling. But he looked young, which made people feel even weirder. The two Meng family and Yi family, Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue, the two were acting like normal people. Recently, I heard of something and wanted to ask the two of you. Mu Hong picked up the teacup beside him, blew on it gently, and took a sip. However, his eyes were fixed on the two of them. Yi Fengxue and Meng Binjian looked at each other with doubt in their eyes. City Lord, please ask away. If we know, we will definitely tell you. Yi Fengxue said respectfully. Recently, there's a rumor in the city that pure gold has appeared. I wonder if the two of you have heard of it. Mu Hong asked faintly and put down the teacup in his hand. Meng Binjian cupped his hands and said, City Lord, pure gold is a legendary metal that can be used to create top-notch ancient artifacts. However, it has been lost for a long time. I'm afraid that this news is fake. That's right, I thought that it was fake as well, but the news of pure gold has been spreading more and more fiercely in the city. After all, there's no smoke without fire, don't you think so? Mu Hong observed the two's expressions, but he didn't find any clues. Meng Binjian smiled and said, City Lord, I'm afraid that someone wants to make use of the Heavens Arena to cause trouble. Mu Hong didn't continue asking. The Heavens Arena this time is organized by the two of you. When the time comes, heroes from all over will gather. Don't throw away the face of the vile city. Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue both stood up and shouted respectfully, City Lord, don't worry. We will definitely not disappoint you. Very good. Go back and prepare. Yes. Right at that moment, an Imperial Guard hurriedly ran in. Report to City Lord. Why are you in such a panic? Mu Hong asked gravely. Meng Binjian and Yi Fengxue, who were originally going to leave, also stopped their footsteps. The Imperial Guard said with fear, City Lord, the stone tablet at the city gate. What happened to the stone tablet? Mu Hong's expression froze. Could it be that there's a problem with the stone tablet? That's impossible. The stone tablet exploded? What? Mu Hong's face was filled with astonishment. That stone tablet actually exploded. Even if I make a move, that stone tablet wouldn't explode. Yi Fengxue and Meng Binjian were both stupefied. That stone tablet could be considered as the facade of the vile city, and it actually exploded today. Doesn't this mean that something bad is going to happen? Who did it? It's a little girl. Her evil index reached 10 stars. and then the stone tablet exploded. After the Imperial Guard finished speaking, even he himself found it hard to believe, let alone the city lord. Bullshit. A little girl is able to make this stone tablet explode. Just what happened. Mu Hong didn't believe this kind of nonsense. 10 stars and the stone tablet explode. Who are you trying to bluff? The Imperial Guard was about to pee in his pants. City Lord, I don't dare to bluff you. A lot of people saw it. That little girl just touched the stone tablet a bit, and the stone tablet exploded like that. At this moment, Yifeng Shue walked forward and said respectfully, City Lord, this matter is not a small matter. We need to consider this matter at length. That's right. After a period of time, when heroes from all over enter the city and find out about the stone tablet exploding, I'm afraid that our vile city will become a laughingstock. Meng Binjian echoed along and said. Mu Hong slowly sat down. What those two said is right. We cannot let too many people know about this matter. If not, our face will be gone. That Meridian Break sect and Shin Academy are already pressuring the vile city from the start, and they will definitely use this matter to attack us. End of this chapter. Chapter 11-12. Really hateful. It must be the work of the spy they sent. After a while, Mu Hong said gravely, Men, call Xian Ba over. Yes. After a while, a man wearing a ceremonial robe walked over. Lord Father. That's right. This is Xian Ba, the grandpa who always follows him everywhere. When he just arrived, he was teleported to the evil men's city and saw the city master's daughter being assassinated. Xian Ba was righteous. She was beaten half to death. After all, the difference in strength was too big. But that kind of fearless spirit infected the city master's daughter. She was quite touched. Even though he knew that he could not win, he still came to save her. In the end, under this kind of misunderstanding, a subtle change occurred. With the grandpa's encouragement, Xian Ba also pursued her, and the result was naturally a happy ending. However, the only difference between Xian Ba and Qi Shu Wen is, one is a bit more pure, the other is unscrupulous for his goal. Mu Hong looked at his son-in-law. Actually, he was against it at the start, but when he thought about how this brat risked his life to save his daughter, he felt that this kind of spirit was good, like a man. After a while of persuasion from his daughter, he agreed. Next, Mu Hong realized that this Xian Ba is also a piece of jade. As long as he carve it a little, his future achievements will be limitless. Bring some people to check the situation at the city gate and restore the stone tablet. It doesn't matter if it is useful or not. Mu Hong said gravely. Even if it is fake, it is still a test. Xian Ba still does not know what is going on, so he agreed first and then continued to understand the situation. The two of you, the matter at the heavenly arena is imminent. Be careful. Yes, city master. The two family masters shouted respectfully and then left. After everyone left, Mu Hong let out a sigh of relief. His expression was very grave. On the other side, Xian Ba also brought some people to the city gate. When he found out what happened, he was incomparably shocked. Someone actually destroyed the stone tablet. How is this possible? After coming to the evil men's city for so long, I have never heard of anyone being able to destroy the stone tablet. Furthermore, you told me that it was a child who destroyed it. That is even more unbelievable. Right now, the city gate already prohibited people from entering. The queue outside is already very long, but no one dares to act recklessly. After all, this is the evil men's city. They can only abide by the rules. Yi Zizi did not want to, but Qin Yutong did not allow it. So she pouted her mouth and looked very unhappy. Rin Yao and Yang Haoyan waited quietly. They seemed very relaxed. But Yang Haoyan realized that there seemed to be a lot of people entering the city. This was a little strange. However, he was too embarrassed to ask. He would know when he entered the city and asked around. The Sky Arena was a grand event that was held only once in 1,000 years. Yang Haoyan had only been here for a few hundred years and had never heard of it. It was understandable that he did not know about it. As for the others, they had no idea. Xi and Ba and the guards were checking the procession because they heard that the girl just now seemed to be on a carriage. With such a long queue, there were quite a few carriages. Xi and Ba immediately checked the first carriage. Please do me a favor. Xi and Ba cupped his hands and said to Ren Yao and Yang Haoyan. Xi and Ba's attitude was considered good. At least he didn't make people feel disgusted, but Qi Shuwen did. What do you want? Yang Haoyan asked with a straight face. Xi and Ba did not lose his temper and calmly said, Can you let the people in the carriage out for a moment? They're all women. What's there to look at? Ren Yao coldly said, You actually want to look at the big sister? You sure have guts. Right at this moment, Kai Yun suddenly stuck his head out, smiled, and asked, Who wants to see me? Xi and Ba looked towards the carriage, and when he saw Kai Yun, his entire body stiffened. Was this a hallucination? This person, isn't she that witchy? And I have seen her on television before. This is impossible. Why did she appear here? It's definitely because she looks similar. That must be it. Vandermaster, don't mess around. Yu Hua said in a low voice, then carried Kai Yun back into the carriage. However, Xi and Ba was still able to see Yu Hua's face, and the shock in his heart was like a volcano eruption. How is this possible? Why did they appear here? That South Wuchi and Voidless Realm are in an alliance, and with such a powerful system, they should be able to sweep away everything. That's why they came here to develop. And in the end, just half a year after coming here, you were telling me that those people came here again. I've already come all the way here, and you're still chasing after me. Just how big of a hatred do you have? If that Voidless Realms people came too, that man is definitely here. And there's also the Empress. Could it be that those perverts are going to cause trouble here again? Xi and Ba, don't panic. Things might not be what you think. The old man inside Xi and Ba's body said gravely. Xi and Ba didn't want to think about the worst, but he just couldn't help it. Hey, what are you daydreaming for? Yang Haoyan couldn't help but shout out. This person is actually so silly that he doesn't understand. He is definitely daydreaming. After all, the beauty of these big sisters are all heaven-defying existences, and it is normal for him to be daydreaming. Xi and Ba's expression became grave. How would he dare to continue searching around right now? Thus, he directly walked back into the city. This person must have a problem. Yang Haoyan said faintly. Just a moment ago, I still wanted to continue looking, but now I have to leave again. Originally, I still wanted to act cool. After all, there's so many people at the scene, if I don't act cool, I would feel bad, right? With these big sisters here, no matter what I act cool, I will be awesome. Life philosophy, if you're not convinced, then fight. However, very far away behind the crowd, there were 4 people standing there, 2 men and 2 women. The 2 women were very beautiful, causing the people in the group to take a few more glances at them, to the point where they felt that it was not enough to take a few more glances at them. After all, they are beautiful women. Are they well informed? I don't know. There is a rumor that the pure gold is in this city. That is just a rumor. Who knows if it is true or false? We will know once we go in and take a look. You idiot. Are you feeling uncomfortable if I don't beat you up for a day? Wife, can you not bully me? All right. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. I guarantee that I will serve you like a big boss. The 2 people who were bickering with each other were naturally Yi Hong and Zishan, and the other 2 people were naturally Wei Chong and Tang Wei. Originally, there were 2 groups of people, and in the end, they bumped into each other on the way here. Both of them had rushed over after receiving the news that there was a pure gold. If we were able to get our hands on the pure gold, His Honor might be happy for a bit. I heard that Zhu Tian was called back. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chong said gravely. Zhu Tian was definitely called back to concoct the antidote for His Honor's mother. The situation is not good. Zishan said in a low voice. For His Honor to be in such a hurry, something must have definitely happened. That is why we have to find the pure gold for His Honor. Yi Hong, who was at the side, raised his fist and had an expression that said that he would not hesitate to die 10,000 times for His Honor. However, Zishan immediately slapped her palm towards Yi Hong, and Yi Hong took the opportunity to dodge the palm. End of chapter. Chapter 11:13. Wife, it was wrong you hit. I shouldn't have dodged at all. If my wife wants to hit me, then I have to stick my head out to be hit. Of course, Zishan did not hold back and patted the back of Ihang's head. Wei Chong shook his head. Ihang's henpecked behavior was too severe. He was afraid that he would end up with a fool. You should show off your manliness. Zishan, you shouldn't always bully others. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Every day, she would see Zishan bullying her husband. Zishan snorted. As long as you don't get pregnant with my child, I will bully you for another day. Ihang looked at Wei Chong. Her meaning was very simple. Help! What does this not have to do with me? Maybe it's because you can't conceive? It's always men's fault. Before I met you, Ihang, was a virgin. Although you're also a virgin, a negative can also be a positive, right? Am I right? This is too much of a bully. Take a look at the team. Other than his honor, who else has a child? Everyone's situation is the same, and you're still criticizing me? What kind of expression is that, I'm not convinced. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. The more Zishan scolded Ihang, the fiercer she became, and she didn't give Ihang any face at all. This caused the surrounding people to begin discussing amongst themselves in low voices. Such a beautiful wife. This man actually, yeah, a man who can't make a woman pregnant, is he still a man? Brother, do you need me to help? The surrounding people were all talking at once. Ihang's face was red, and she stood at the side without saying a word. Wei Chong couldn't stand it anymore. If a couple quarreled, don't quarrel outside. Men don't care about face outside. Furthermore, you're talking about pregnancy outside. It's really, Zishan, that's enough. Give me some face. Wei Chong said gravely. Zishan snorted, but from the corner of her eyes, she secretly looked towards Ihang. You're acting pitiful again. You're acting pitiful even though you're being scolded. Tang Wei felt that if this couple continued to be in a deadlock, they would definitely divorce. He was sure that Ihang was the one who initiated the divorce. I remember that back then, Ihang had also brought up a divorce once, and it was also because of Zishan's overbearing personality. I'm really afraid that Ihang will go berserk again. However, this time, when Ihang goes berserk, she might really die. Tang Wei decided to give Zishan a warning. You can't do this to this man. At the very least, you should give Zishan enough face when they are outside. Looking at himself, he wished that he could slap Uncle Wei to death. However, he endured it and decided to wait until they got back. Didn't they say that it would end 100 years earlier? But now, he didn't seem to have done anything about it. We have already been together for 5 to 6 years, and yet Uncle Wei still doesn't do it. This is making me very annoyed, and sometimes I really don't want to talk to Uncle Wei anymore. However, behind Wei Chong and the others, there were still a few people. What happened in front? Why is the queue so long? Woof! GGG, Imperial Translation. Who knows? Honey, carry it for me to see. Honey, did you see that? I don't see it. I'm stuck in a traffic jam, just entering the city. It's really annoying. But this also proves one thing. The pure gold is most likely inside. I have to get the pure gold. That way, I'll be able to account for myself when I return. Mage bro, what do you think? GGG, Imperial Translation. I really want to fish. Listen to that bee sound. This group of people was naturally Death Mage Sun Fong and her husband, as well as LV Liang and the Vampire Sisters. Of course, there was also a husky. Same as Wei Chong. They rushed over after hearing the news about the pure gold. The difference was, one came early and the other came late. If not, they would have bumped into each other. However, right now, they don't even know of each other's existence. To be precise, all 4 groups of people don't even know of each other's existence. This kind of result is very likely. After all, this evil men's city is very big, and the chances of bumping into each other is a bit small. That would definitely be interesting. Honey, put me down. LV Liang patted onto Serena's shoulder. This Big Brother Green is quite awesome. He managed to train the Vampire Sisters to be obedient. Look at how he is being carried by his wife. What kind of spirit is this? Looking at the men at the side, they were all stupefied. You actually ordered such a beautiful woman. You are simply shameless. Serena even took out a tissue and wiped off LV Liang's sweat. Her level of consideration was 10 stars. Luckily, Yihong didn't know about this scene. This is the comparison of blood. Although Zishan is a bit prettier than the vampire sisters, and her status is also a bit higher. After all, she is a deity. I, little brother Red, am also a man who slept with a deity. But right now, I, little brother Red, would rather find an ordinary woman. At least, those women are obedient, won't hit people, won't scold people. Honey is so obedient, honey kiss, pout your small mouth. The two sisters pout their lips together. This scene simply made all the men jealous to death. This damn man, to actually act so pretentiously. Sooner or later, I will die on a woman's stomach. Sun Fong, who was at the side, looked at the scene, then took a look at Death Mage, who was wrapped up like a dumpling. Kiss? Damn it, I don't even know what kiss tastes like, let alone XXO. I am simply about to die from anger. Why did I follow a skeleton back then? Did water enter my brain? I can't even experience a woman's happiness. I must be sick. It's moving, it's moving. The team is finally moving. LV Liang said excitedly. The team is finally moving. With so many people, of course, I have to let them pass. Am I supposed to lock all of them outside? That's impossible. However, the part where Wei Chong pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger was cancelled. Wei Chong only pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger, then gave out a few stars symbolically. This caused Wei Chong to suspect whether or not I am an evil person, to think that my evil index is actually 1 star. Wei Chong thought to himself that his honor must have comprehended me. If his honor were to come over and press his finger on Death Mage's finger, I reckon that there wouldn't even be any stars left. However, at the very end of the team, there was a man and a woman. If Xian Ba was able to walk to the end of the team, he would definitely be able to see them. This is also my good brother back then, Qi Shu Wen. The woman was naturally Qi Shu Wen's wife, Abalone Yu. This time, the two of them came out from Watertown, and their target was also the pure gold. There were spies in Watertown as well. Right now, Qi Shu Wen was also a man who possessed a primordial artifact, and this primordial artifact was precisely the primordial artifact that belonged to Abalone Yu's big brother, Bao Pa. Right now, the primordial artifact had fallen into Qi Shu Wen's hands as he wished. Qi Shu Wen was very happy. Furthermore, he also learned 1 or 2 moves of the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art. It must be said that the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art is indeed a very awesome martial skill. Although I only learned 2 moves of the art, I benefited a lot from it. Husband, they are finally moving. Abalone Yu snuggled into Qi Shu Wen's embrace, feeling very blissful. End of chapter. Chapter 11:14. This time, Qi Shu Wen's main purpose for coming here wasn't the pure gold. He just wanted to make a name for himself. Although it wasn't a big deal, it was enough to pave the way for him. When I leave the mountain, no, when I leave the sea, there will be people who will remember me and say, "Isn't he that so-and-so from back then?" I didn't expect that he would be so awesome. Back then, I was really blind not to follow him. If I was given another chance, back then, even if I had to die, I would hug on his thigh. This is the feeling that I, Qi Shu Wen, won't be such a man. Those who look down on me, will regret it. Trash. Dregs. Get lost. Sooner or later, this world will belong to me. Qi Shu Wen. At that time, Qi Shu Wen, won't die. Whoever it was would die. It was just like the tournament between the North and the South all those years ago. Whoever the Empress wanted to kill, that person would die. That kind of aura, that kind of majesty, they would never forget in this lifetime. Husband. She realized that her husband would sometimes fall into such a state, smiling like a fool. Qi Shu Wen came back to his senses. Oh, I was just thinking about what our child would be like. You're so annoying, I just got pregnant. It won't be that fast. Abalone said shyly, gently stroking her abdomen. She only found out about her pregnancy a few days ago. She didn't expect it to happen so soon. Qi Shu Wen was also a little worried. Sharky, why don't I send you back? I'm worried about you staying here. It's fine. I don't need your protection. I'm quite strong myself. You. Qi Shu Wen unhappily scratched onto Abalone's nose. Now that he had become a father, Qi Shuwen's mentality still had a bit of change, but it wasn't that big. A large number of people entered Evil Men's City. At least 90% of them were here for the pure gold. The other half were here to fish in troubled waters. However, it was undeniable that the situation this time was complicated. The entire team was scattered throughout the city, and none of them knew of each other's existence. And Long Outyin would not know that Qing Yutong had come. If he were to see Qing Yutong again, I wonder how Long Outyin would feel. After all, back then, I had also planned to bring Qing Yutong into my harem, but just when I had this terrifying thought, my life changed. That's why I said, don't have any terrifying thoughts because it will change your fate. Meng family, Long Outyin, and the others were all enjoying the food provided by Meng Yi. It was indeed delicious. Every region had their own way of cooking. This was definitely the taste of the southern part of the Kangluo continent. At least that was what Long Outyin and Lord Zhou thought. When Meng Yi saw them wolfing down their food, he was a little startled. How long had it been since they last ate? He was actually starving to this extent. Look at this black-clothed man. He looked very thin and weak, but in the face of such delicious food, he was actually indifferent. No wonder he was so skinny and malnourished. Brother, is the food not to your liking? Meng Yi asked Death Assassin. Long Outyin quickly said, Brother Meng, my big brother has a poor appetite, and he's a mute. He can't speak. Oh, so that's how it is. Meng Yi nodded his head. This kind of expert is actually a mute. Fortunately, he is not a cripple. Dad, Mom, this dish is really delicious, Chu Yuxuan said coldly. Right now, they were all talking in the same tone. They didn't even need to adjust their tone. Even a joke could make people want to die. Lord Zhou was helpless. Grandpa, eat more. Lord Zhou, this child is really sensible. Meng Yi smiled faintly. This child is probably 20+ years old, and there's even a little one beside him. Everyone didn't know what to say. This child is just like a child who was pricked by a silver needle. Right now, Meng still smiled and said, This child is quite smart. Thank you for your compliment, Mom. Long Yang was unwilling. Mom, why didn't you compliment me? Yang is also very obedient. He is the most obedient. Mom, Chu Yuxuan was jealous. Long Outyin didn't know what to say anymore. Next time I must definitely prick him properly. I mustn't fail again. Right at this time, Meng Binjian walked in. Seeing that his son was eating with his friends, Meng Binjian revealed a smile. Everyone, sorry for not greeting you well. Meng Yi hurriedly introduced, Brother Long, this is my father. It's actually the family head. Long Haoyin and the others stood up and cupped their hands. Meng Binjian nodded his head. However, when he looked toward the black-clothed man, he actually didn't stand up. He didn't give me any face at all. Long Haoqian pulled his son to the side and said in a low voice, Don't bring just anyone into the house. Do you understand? Father, that old man, his evilness index is 6-star, and that black-clothed man, I feel that his evilness index is even higher. We can definitely make use of him. Meng, he wasn't an idiot. He definitely had a motive for doing so. In the city of evilness, there was no good person. Meng Binjian finally understood. So it turns out that his son is actually interested in that black-clothed man and that old man. You can do as you see fit. These few days will be very busy. You have to be careful. Meng Binjian said in a low voice, then smiled towards Long Outyin and the others. Everyone, please enjoy yourselves. I still have things to do, so I won't be accompanying you. Long Outyin felt that this family head is very easy to talk to and is also very polite. Jiu didn't think so. After all, the higher one sits, the clearer one can see things. This Meng, he looks very shrewd. His father is definitely even more shrewd. Jiu Yi picked up a piece of meat and gave it to Xiao Bao, who was at the side to eat. Xiao Bao was very happy. Xiao Bao's tail kept wagging as he walked back and forth. Brother Long, I'm really sorry. My father has to prepare for the upcoming Sky Arena, so he is very busy. Meng, he explained. Sky Arena? This caused everyone to be very puzzled. Jiu Yi asked, Young Master Meng, what is the meaning of this Sky Arena? You all are not locals, so you definitely don't know. In our Vile City, every 1,000 years, there will be a sky arena. That scene is very spectacular. When the time comes, everyone will know about it. Meng Yi said with a faint smile. Long Outyin asked curiously, "It can't be that this sky arena is just for watching, right?" "Of course not. It is also a type of sparring. When the time comes, all of the powers in the southern part of Kangluo continent will gather. The more famous Meridian Break Sect, Deity Academy, and so on will all come." Long Outyin nodded his head. "Seems like it is better to be a bit more low profile. I even wanted to go out and register just now." Meanwhile, Meng Yi thought to himself, "Aren't you all going to register?" Representing the Meng family to go up to the stage. Of course, the representative isn't the only one. As long as the family is willing, they can send countless representatives to go up to the stage. As long as they win, the glory will belong to the representative family. Therefore, having more people go up to fight for the family is also a kind of insurance. Jiuyu is also pondering, what should I do if I meet people from Meridian Break Sect? I won't be able to win against them. Are there any rewards? Jiuyu asked. I was just waiting for you to say this. End of chapter. Chapter 11:15. Meng Yi said gravely, I also don't know what the reward this time is. It is very mysterious. But what I can be sure of is that it is a good thing. I, Lord Jiu, will not participate in such matters. When the time comes, I won't even know how I died. There are many experts in this world, and I'm not a match for them. Death Assassin suddenly tapped on the table, causing Long Outyin to be very puzzled. Is Master planning to participate in the competition? Meng Yi rejoiced in his heart. As long as this person participated in the competition, everything would be settled. Brother Long, what does your big brother mean? Meng Yi asked curiously. Long Outyin knew what his master meant. Brother Meng, it's like this. My big brother wants to participate. Do you have any ideas? Are you going to participate? This is simple. I only need to make some arrangements. Just that. Meng Yi was a bit embarrassed. After all, honor was also very important. Lord Jiu asked curiously, but what? I am just representing my Meng family, but the prize still belongs to this big brother. To put it bluntly, I just want a reputation. Brother Long, what do you guys think about this? Meng Yi looked at Death Assassin. This person had concealed himself deeply, and he seemed to be very powerful. They even felt that Black Robe was the kind of person who would kill without batting an eyelid. On this point, Meng Yi had indeed guessed correctly. Death Assassins do not even blink when they kill. Even if they wanted to blink, they would not be able to. Long Outyin wasn't interested in the reputation of this place, but he was interested in the treasures of the competition. He believed that it should be able to sell for a lot of money. At that time, he would be able to give his wife and son a stable life. However, he could only rely on his master for such a matter. His master was so powerful, it shouldn't be a problem for him to become the champion of the Sky Arena. Death Assassin nodded. Meng Yi could understand it without Long Outyin's explanation. Don't worry, big brother. Meng Yi, will definitely get it done. When the time comes, I'll have to rely on you, big brother. Meng Yi cupped his hands and shouted. He appeared to be very low-key, causing Long Outyin and Lord Jiu to have a whole new level of respect for him. Furthermore, this person's eyesight is very sinister. How did he know that within this group of people, the strongest is Death Assassin? Father, I want to take a dump, Chu Yuxuan said seriously. Everyone, Qing Yutong and the others found an inn to rest in. However, the scenery of the Vile City was something that everyone was unable to accept. This was especially so for Yi Zizi. In her imagination, the evil men's city would be all red. In the end, she discovered that there was not even a single person fighting. Is this still the evil men's city? This was probably a good city. Along the way, Brett felt itchy all over his body. Please don't misunderstand. It wasn't that kind of itch. It was that kind of itch. Once again, it showed that experts were lonely. They were bored to the point of exploding. 5 women stayed in a guest room, and other than Qing Yutong and Yu Hua, the other 3 women were sighing in despair. Having nothing to do was even more painful than killing them. As for Yi Zizi, when she saw the bustling streets, she wished that she could suck it all in. Back then, There was a time when his honor also entered the city like this. His honor also found Nin. Then, he began to compete with Wei Chong. In the blink of an eye, the originally bustling city became lifeless. That feeling was simply amazing. Yi Zizi had almost forgotten how she felt in the past. She had become a good lowly who could help an old lady cross the road. Dong, dong, dong. There was a knock on the door. Come in. Qing Yutong lightly shouted. Rin Yao and Yang Haoyan walked in, and Yang Haoyan said respectfully, Ladies, good news. What good news? Brett, who was lying on the bed, asked faintly. I'm afraid that only Ju Tian would be able to enjoy that sexy body of hers. It's like this, just now, Luden and I were walking around outside, and we heard about a matter. Yang Haoyan seemed to be very excited. To actually be able to encounter such a matter while coming here, I am simply too lucky. Kai Yun couldn't help but say, You sure talk a lot of nonsense. Can't you just say it directly? If you continue to keep me in suspense, I will keep you in suspense. Little brother, speak immediately. Do you know why there are so many people coming to the evil city? Everyone, seeing that the expressions of the ladies didn't seem to be good, Yang Haoqian hurriedly said, It's like this. Recently, there's going to be a competition called the Sky Arena, and there will be people from Broken Meridian Sect and Deity Academy coming over to compete for it. There's still a rumor going around in the city that the prize this time is something called gold, and it seems to be a material that can be used to make very powerful ancient divine tools. Competition. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun immediately became spirited, completely not hearing what was said at the back. Even Brett opened his eyes and asked faintly, Competition? Is it more like fighting? That's right, fighting. I heard that all of the experts in the South will be gathered there. Fun. Do you want to register? Let's hurry up and register. Yi Zizi was already getting impatient. I might not be able to do anything else, but fighting is definitely the most awesome. Kaiyan was also rubbing his palms together. Fight. Let's make Wushu Empire famous. This method is feasible. Yutong, don't you think so? Yuhua said tenderly. Qing Yutong nodded her head. With everyone's strength, it wouldn't be difficult for them to become the champion. The main thing was how to attract hatred. This way, they would be able to let everyone know about Wushu Empire. Brother-in-law reckons that these people are planning to gang up on him. At that time, they would be able to display their might. This is truly troublesome. And if you want to go and play, then go and register. Qing Yutong said lightly. After all, she wasn't interested in fighting, and she preferred to watch brother-in-law act cool. That would be more interesting. Yuhua also didn't seem to be interested in fighting. Yi Zizi and Kai Yin definitely want to go and fight, and even Brett wanted to loosen up his muscles and bones. Even Rin Yao wanted to go and fight for fun. Most probably, she had been holding in too long and didn't have the chance to let it out. After the matter was settled, other than Qing Yutong, who was sitting in the living room and feeling bored, everyone else went to play. On the other hand, Wei Chong and Yi Hong had just registered. If they were slightly later, they might be able to meet Yi Zizi, but it seems like they won't be able to meet each other. Yi Hong and Zishan both registered for the competition, and Wei Chong also registered for the competition. I reckon that Wei Chong also wanted to play and casually become the champion. Let's see if it's pure gold or not. Tang Wei did not register for the competition. If she could fight, she would really want to beat Wei Chong up. To be more precise, she would want to beat Wei Chong up. You are a man. I am a woman. Can't we do something that a man and a woman should do? Ever since Zishan flipped out outside, Yi Hong had been remaining silent and not saying anything, giving people a feeling that she was angry. Wei Chong didn't care about Zishan. He was naturally standing on little brother Red's side. Zishan was indeed too much just now. She should apologize to Yi Hong right now. If Tang Wei is the same, I will definitely break up with her. Who would be able to stand it? This is also because little brother Red has a good temper. He felt that he was lucky to get a wife like Zishan. In a chapter. Chapter 11:16. He silently chose to be a bootlicker, but this bootlicker lasted for a few years. This wasn't the first time they had quarreled over the issue of children. Basically, there was a small quarrel every 3 days and a big quarrel every 5 days. If this went on, It would be strange if they didn't divorce. In Wei Chang's opinion, the most unstable people in the team were Yi Hong and Zishan. The most stable ones were Do Fushi and Li Hun, because Li Hun was truly too good at being a woman. Compared to Zishan, they were simply two extremes. Seeing this, Tang Wei was also very worried. She felt that Zishan had really made a mistake this time. It was one thing to say that Yi Hong couldn't do it in front of his own people, but now he was saying it in front of a stranger. Which man could take it? Yi Hong didn't care about her reputation. Zishan silently looked at Yi Hong, who was walking in front of her, and lightly bit her lips. This fellow is actually not coaxing me anymore. In the past, whenever they quarreled, she would use all sorts of methods to appease him. Look at her now. She was even angry and inflating his ego. Did he think he was the boss and was waiting on the keyboard? The four of them casually found an inn to stay in. However, when they were checking into a room, Yi Hong actually asked for a single room by herself and did not want to stay with Zishan. This time, Zishan was really pissed off. She was giving me a hard time. The couple slept in separate rooms. When Wei Chang and Tang Wei saw this, Wei Chang said faintly, "If a pair of husband and wife quarrel every day and sleep separately in the end, this is the rhythm of a divorce. Zishan just wants to have a child too much," Tang Wei said in a light voice. Wei Chang took a deep breath, "But you shouldn't have scolded Yi Hong like that. Yi Hong isn't the only one who can't get pregnant. It's the same for the others as well. From what I see, Yi Hong has spoiled Zishan too much." "What? Do you still want Yi Hong to fight Zishan?" "Why not? Such a fierce wife needs to be taught a good lesson. Only then will she learn to be a man." Wei Chang was indeed a bit angry, seeing his little brother being bullied by his wife outside. If it was possible, he really wanted to properly teach Zishan a lesson. Don't think that just because you are a deity, you can bully Yi Hong. Back then, Yi Hong said that she wanted a divorce, but you didn't want it either. After a few years, you became like this again. Tang Wei didn't say anything. Uncle Wei's way of thinking is very similar to his honors. I will talk to Zishan about it later. If anything really happens, his honor will definitely fly into a rage, Tang Wei said lightly. In the end, she still had to persuade Zishan to stop bullying Yi Hong. Who would be able to stand it? "Boss, do you still have a room?" Just when Wei Chang and Tang Wei were going upstairs, Tang Wei heard a familiar voice. Even Wei Chang felt that this voice was very familiar. It was as if he had heard it somewhere a few years ago. Therefore, the two of them turned around to look. The one who said this was, of course, Qi Shuwen. They found a few inns, but they were all full. It couldn't be helped. This place was simply too popular. Abalone obediently stood beside Qi Shuwen, looking very happy. Qi Shuwen noticed that someone was looking at him, and so he followed along and looked over. But as soon as he took a closer look, he was astonished. That woman, isn't she the school belle Tang Wei? And that man? Until now, Qi Shuwen still remembered the incident with the heavenly arowana. It was precisely this uncle who appeared and beat up that manager. The last time they met, it should be that banquet. I left first. Logically speaking, I should have brought Tang Wei away back then, but I was afraid at that time. I wasn't strong enough, so I could only choose to leave by myself. Therefore, when he saw Tang Wei right now, he felt very conflicted in his heart. Qi Shuwen. Tang Wei still took the initiative to call out. Qi Shuwen wanted to pretend that he didn't know Tang Wei to avoid the awkwardness. But since Tang Wei took the initiative to greet him, Qi Shuwen still squeezed out a smile and shouted, "Tang Wei?" Seems like Qi Shuwen still doesn't know who Wei Chang is, and only feels that Wei Chang is rather powerful. Wei Chang naturally knows about Qi Shuwen, and he even knows about some of his honors plans. Back then, Wei Chang listed Qi Shuwen and Xian Ba as his opponents, and in the end, he forgot about these two people. I didn't expect that I would actually meet them in another plane today. This is simply a very preposterous thing. This kind of probability is even lower than winning the lottery. This is truly too coincidental. Why are you here? Tang Wei walked down the stairs. After all, she was in a foreign country, and seeing someone from the same hometown, how could she not be excited? Wei Chang followed behind Tang Wei and looked at Qi Shuwen. He discovered that Qi Shuwen's strength had indeed increased by quite a bit, but he is still very far away from what his honor wants. However, I am also very curious if this Qi Shu Wen is able to become his honor's opponent. After all, being able to become his honor's opponent is also a kind of honor. Even if I die, I can still go to hell and act cool. After all, my opponent is his honor. That is definitely worthy of being worshipped by others. Abalone Fish tightly held onto Qi Shu Wen's arm. This girl in front of me is very beautiful, and they actually know each other. I didn't even know that. Husband, who is she? Abalone Fish asked vigilantly. She is one of my schoolmates. Qi Shu Wen said subconsciously. Schoolmate? Abalone Fish was very puzzled. She was also very unfamiliar with this word. Qi Shu Wen went into a daze for a moment, then said in a low voice, she is a junior martial sister. Hearing what Yi Hua said, Abalone Fish immediately understood, but she was still very vigilant. Qi Shu Wen said with a smile, this is a long story, Tang Wei. Long time no see. That's right, I didn't expect that I would be able to meet you here. It really isn't easy. Who is this? Tang Wei said with a slight smile. Oh, this is my wife, Abalone Fish. Hello. Abalone Fish called out tenderly. Her heart also loosened up a bit. Looking at the situation, their relationship seems to be normal. Wei Chong stood at the back and didn't say anything, but his expression seemed to be a bit bad, and he seemed to be a bit jealous. After all, he was a man, and seeing his woman being so passionate toward another man, it was only natural that he would have a bit of strange feeling. Aren't you going to go and persuade others? Wei Chong said faintly. If Qi Shu Wen were to see Zishan, you would definitely be able to recognize her. Back then, during the North and South martial arts competition, Zishan descended from the sky and was worshipped by everyone. In the end, when Qi Shu Wen found out that Zishan was actually one of the Empress's people, everyone was shocked. How could Qi Shu Wen possibly forget about Zishan? However, Zishan had already gone upstairs. If not, Qi Shu Wen would be shocked to the point that his jaw would drop onto the ground again. It seems like no matter where I go, I will be able to bump into that group of people. Is there even a way out for me? When Tang Wei heard Wei Chang's words, she went into a daze for a moment, and Qi Shu Wen could clearly feel a bit of jealousy. That's right, I still have things to do. I won't be chatting with you first. Tang Wei came back to her senses. I didn't expect that Uncle Wei would also have a time where he would be jealous. This is so cute. I thought that Uncle Wei didn't care about me at all. Huh. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:17. Qi Shu Wen originally felt awkward, and it was best for Tang Wei to leave now. All right. Tang Wei turned around and held on to Wei Chang's arm, then said in a low voice, Uncle Wei, what's wrong? Are you jealous? Wei Chong laughed dryly. Would I, Wei Chong, be jealous? That doesn't exist. Qi Shu Wen let out a sigh of relief. I finally asked for a room here, then went upstairs to rest with Abalone. Tang Wei first went to Zishan's room, while Wei Chong went to Yihang's room. Tang Wei went to persuade Zishan not to be so overbearing, while Wei Chong went to teach Yihang not to be afraid of women. Women are nothing. If you don't listen to me, I'll beat you up. Seriously, what is there for us men to be afraid of? Coming to Yihang's room, Wei Chong saw that Yihang was in a daze. It wasn't easy for Yihang to develop to where she is now. Her marriage was arranged by his honor, but I didn't expect that she would be a fierce wife. What a tragedy. Uncle Wei. Seeing that Wei Chong came in, Yihang hurriedly stood up and greeted. Wei Chong nodded his head and sat opposite to Yihang. Yihang knew why Uncle Wei came over, but just now, when she was outside the city, she really didn't know what kind of feeling she had. She loved Zishan very much, and she wanted to give her the best, which was why she was willing to be controlled by Zishan. But as time passed, and with Zishan not being able to conceive a child, she became more and more irritable. Back then, Yihang even comforted herself that it might be menopause, which was why she gave in to Zishan. And just like that, she gave in to Zishan for a few years, and not only did she not get better, she became even worse. Sometimes, I feel that I don't even dare to return home, because when I return home, I only hear Zishan scolding me. as if in Zishan's eyes, I'm nothing. To put it bluntly, I'm just a trash. Yihong, what do you plan to do? Wei Chang asked lightly. Yihong shook her head and said confusedly, Uncle Wei, I don't know what to do either. If you really can't hold on, then just leave. I'll talk to His Honor. His Honor will understand. Wei Chang didn't want to persuade Yihong Li, but he couldn't stand it anymore. They didn't live together in the past, but they had been living in the palace for the past few months. Everyone in the team knew that Yihong was almost unable to take care of herself after being scolded by Zishan. She thought that they were a couple and did not want to get involved, but Yihong was with LV Tao every day and did not dare to go home at night. Wei Chang knew about this. The reason why he was persuading her today was because of what happened outside the city. How could a woman not give him face and still stay for the new year? When Yihong heard Wei Chang's words, her emotions did not fluctuate much. It was as if she had considered this question before. Uncle Wei, do you also think that Zishan and I are not suitable for each other? Yihong raised his head and looked at Wei Chang, and his gaze was filled with helplessness. He had thought of all kinds of methods, hoping to become the man in Zishan's eyes, yet he still didn't succeed. Wei Chang said gravely, To be honest, Zishan isn't worthy of you. You are the person with the best temper that I have ever seen. If something like that happened to His Honor, I'm afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it anymore. From the looks of it, Wei Chang understood Yihua quite well. Yihua didn't like rude and unreasonable women, and Zishan was exactly such a woman. Uncle Wei, in actuality, I also didn't want to end up like this with Zishan. After all, it wasn't easy for us to get together, and I also don't want to give up on this relationship. However, today's matter, Uncle Wei, I'm also a man, and I also have my own dignity. At home, it's fine for Zishan to scold me in front of all of you, because all of you are family. However, I didn't expect that Zishan would also scold me like that outside. I really have had enough of it. Yihong slowly set out her true thoughts. When men think about problems, they're all rational, while when women think about problems in this aspect, they are all emotional. Perhaps, even Zishan wouldn't have thought that Yihong had actually thought about divorce countless of times in her heart, but every time, she felt that she shouldn't do this. After hearing what Yihong said, Wei Chang patted onto Yihong's shoulder. How about this? You should think about it properly during these few days. After this matter is over and you have thought about it clearly, tell me about it. I will bring you to meet His Honor. Thank you, Uncle Wei. I have caused you and His Honor to worry. Yihong felt very apologetic. Wei Chang said with a slight smile, Our group is just like a big family. We should take care of each other. Yihong nodded her head with a smile. Yihong felt warmth. It has been a long time since I have felt this kind of warmth from Zishan. In the room that was at the side, Tang Wei was persuading Zishan. However, Zishan still had a righteous look on her face. Tang Wei, do you think that I am wrong? I just want to have a child. Is there anything wrong with me? Then, Yihong isn't wrong either. Regarding the matter of having a child, everyone is thinking of ways to have a child. You can't just blame the matter of not being able to have a child on Yihong's head. Tang Wei persuaded attentively. Zishan sat on the ground while panting with rage, then poured herself a glass of water and drank it in one gulp. Furthermore, just now, you insulted Yihong in front of outsiders. You shouldn't have done that. Tang Wei said in a deep voice. As a woman, Zishan had to know when to stop. I have already scolded Zishan enough at home. If I were to continue scolding Zishan outside, it would be a bit unreasonable. Hearing Tang Wei's reprimand, Zishan didn't say anything. Tang Wei continued, Originally, this matter was between the two of you, and it wasn't good for us to say anything. However, Zishan, Yihong is a good man. Don't push this good man away. After hearing what Tang Wei said, Zishan remained silent. Of course, she knew that Yihong was a good man, and she didn't regret marrying Yihong. However, when she thought about how she couldn't have a child, she couldn't control her temper and couldn't help but say a few words. All right, I have said everything that I need to say. Don't force Yihong into a corner. Tang Wei was reminding Zishan. Back then, it wasn't like the two of you didn't get a divorce. Zishan let out a breath and said lightly, Thank you, Tang Wei. We are a family, of course. I hope to see the two of you living happily together. Sometimes, learn more about soul separation. Tang Wei patted onto Zishan's shoulder, then left the room. Zishan, who was left behind, let out a heavy sigh. Why is it so hard to have a child that belongs to me? When Tang Wei walked out of the room, Wei Chong just happened to walk out of the room as well. The two didn't say anything for the time being and returned to the room. Uncle Wei, how's the progress on your side? Wei Chong said faintly. Yihong is currently considering if he wants to get a divorce or not. If he decides to get a divorce, I will bring him to see his honor when I return this time, and we might as well get a thorough divorce. Uncle Wei, why are you advising others to get a divorce? Oh my God! Tang Wei held onto her forehead. I really can't believe it. To actually go and advise others to get a divorce. Just what is Uncle Wei thinking? Men and women's views were naturally different. If this matter was placed on any man in the team, they would definitely get a divorce without a second thought. End of chapter. Chapter 11:18. Only Yihong would be like this, enduring Zishan's anger every single day. What else can we do if we don't divorce? Are we going to keep wasting time like this? Doesn't Zishan want to have a child? Just let her find a man who can give birth to a child. Seriously. Wei Chong was also angry, and his words were filled with a lot of anger. Tang Wei was very helpless. From a woman's point of view, Zishan was actually quite pitiful. It was just that Zishan was a bit unable to control her temper. However, from a man's point of view, a woman like Zishan was just being unreasonable. Meanwhile, in another inn in the city, Big Brother Green probably didn't know that his little brother was already thinking about divorce. But this time, LV Tao might respect Yihong's decision. In the past few months, she could tell that her little brother didn't dare to return home. He dragged her along every day and sometimes even spent the night in her bedroom. Although she didn't say it out loud, she still knew something. Seeing that her younger brother was living such a difficult life, she might as well leave him. That way, everyone would be better off. Master Mage, why aren't you participating this time? There are 5 of us, and I'm the only one participating. Wouldn't it be unsafe? LV Liang said worriedly. She had also signed up earlier, just that she did not expect that Death Mage would actually not sign up this time around. GGG, Imperial Translation. You alone are enough. If you really can't do it, we'll just snatch him. LV Shu looked directly at Sun Fong. What did the mage just say? Please translate. It just said that it has been having diarrhea recently, said Sun Fong helplessly. The Blood Clan sisters were very curious as to how the skeleton got diarrhea. Death Mage stretched out his hand and knocked on Sun Fong's head, causing the latter to snort. In actuality, Sun Fong also had a small temper, but she was able to control it very well. After so many years, she had been living very well with Death Mage. In fact, Sun Fong was even more miserable than Zishan. At least, Zishan was still able to enjoy the feeling of being a woman, but Sun Fong was not able to enjoy it at all. But I didn't scold Death Mage at all. There were some small quarrels, but they were all quarrels that were like flirting. Just like the teasing just now. Why don't the 2 of you sign up? That way, I can have less pressure. It would be great if dogs could sign up too. LV Liang looked at Yun Lang, who was at the side. She had wanted to help Yun Lang register, but in the end, someone said that mutated races and dogs were not allowed to register. Yun Lang was very disappointed. My dog doesn't want face. LV Shu, you can do it. I have faith in you. The Blood Tribe sisters kissed each of them, and LV Shu immediately felt full of energy. It seemed like Yihong was the most pitiful man in the team. The other women simply supported their man unconditionally and did not ask for anything. I heard that there are some experts. I wonder how strong they are. LV Liang muttered. After all, LV Liang had heard that the reward this time was pure gold, and his honor needed a material, so he mustn't fail. Therefore, LV Liang appeared to be very serious, and he mustn't let his guard down. Sun Fong smiled and said, "Don't worry. If it really is pure gold, we'll just snatch it when the time comes. With Lord Spellcaster around, what do we have to fear?" Haha, that's true. Master Mage, we're counting on you. LV Liang cupped his hands. The others were instantly amused by LV Liang's amusing expression. Yin Lang lay at the side and sighed deeply. USH*T shoveling officials. Iera also want my face. In the city lord's mansion, Xian Ba still hadn't calmed down. He thought that he had run all the way here. I definitely won't be able to see those people for the rest of my life. I can properly train, but it seems like the heavens are playing a joke on me. In the end, I still ended up seeing them today. If they were to appear here, then the Empress and that man would definitely be here as well. Why is it like this? Husband, what's wrong today? A tall and slender woman could be seen walking into the mansion with a smile on her face. Her appearance was dignified, and although she didn't have a peerless appearance, she was still a unique beauty. Furthermore, she was also the city lord's daughter, and her status was also extraordinary. Mulin, Xian Ba called out lightly and squeezed out a trace of a smile. Mulin walked to Xian Ba and stretched out her hand, then massaged Xian Ba's temples with her slender fingers. Husband, why are you so worried today? Is it still because of the matter regarding the stone tablet? I've already heard about the matter from father. Perhaps it might just be an accident. Xian Ba really wanted to share the matter that was in his heart with others. To be more precise, he wanted to find someone to complain about it to. And perhaps Xian Ba still didn't say anything. You seem to have something on your mind. Mulin laughed lightly and hugged on Xian Ba from behind. I really can't hide anything from you. Xian Ba laughed. Compared to before, he had indeed matured quite a bit. Is it because of the Sky Arena this time? A bit. After all, this is a grand competition, and it also concerns the reputation of Evil Men City. Right now, the stone tablet is already cracked before it has even started. I don't know what will happen next. Don't worry too much. Although this is Evil Men City, there aren't many who would actually dare to make a move. Mu Lin's words were not wrong. Before making a move, one would have to know how much strength they had. After all, the moment they killed someone, someone behind them would stab them in the back. The gains did not make up for the losses. At this time, Mu Lin continued to say, "That's right, I just received a secret report about the whereabouts of the pure gold." Found it? Where is it? Xian Ba immediately asked. Master had said that the pure gold was extremely important. If he obtained it, he could create an exceptional weapon. Thus, he had to obtain it no matter what. However, when he thought of those two women, could it be that they were also here for the pure gold? If that was the case, then he really had no chance of winning. That was because they were truly too strong, to the point of being abnormal. Mu Lin said in a low voice, "Tonight, in a small workshop in the southern part of the city." Small workshop? Who are they? I don't know. That's what the report said. However, I don't know if it's true or false. Right now, there are only rumors going around in the city. Mu Lin said helplessly. She also doubted the authenticity of the report. Xian Ba still decided to go take a look at night. He would rather believe it. If he was lucky enough to obtain the pure gold, then his strength would definitely increase. Let's go take a look at night. I'll go with you. No need, I can go alone. I'm worried about you. Xian Ba said with a gentle smile. Mu Lin laughed tenderly. You're still weaker than me. Xian Ba hugged Mu Lin in his arms and asked with a smirk, "Are you saying that your husband is very weak?" "I am very, very strong. Are you okay, husband?" Xian Ba touched the bridge of his wife's nose. What a lovely woman. To be able to marry such a woman. Xian Ba also felt that he was very happy. In this life, he would treat her well. Yi Zizi and the others had also just signed up. They were so excited that they couldn't wait to start the elimination. After that, they could kill. In order to avoid causing a sensation, the women also wore veils. Yang Haoyan and Rin Yao were like bodyguards. End of chapter. Chapter 11:19. Make way, make way. At this moment, a light shout came from afar. The crowd on the road was scattered on both sides, and a group of people was slowly entering the city. Yo, what kind of person is this? Yang Haoyan raised his head and looked over. When he saw the iconic sword, he knew who it was. It was the Meridian Breaking Sect. Yang Haoyan, who are these people? Brett asked calmly. Big sis, these are the people of Meridian Break Sect. But, by the looks of it, I'm afraid that even the Grandmaster is here. Yang Hao-Ian whispered. To think that even the Grandmaster would be here. That was enough to tell how important this matter was. Kai-Yin looked at the approaching group and asked curiously, is this Meridian Breaking sect leader very powerful? Yang Hao-Ian chuckled and said, no matter how powerful he is, he's not as powerful as you big sisters. You can poke him to death with just a finger. Is that so? Why don't you go and poke him? Yi Zizi said softly. Yang Hao-Ian's heart was filled with bitterness. He tried to please her. Big sister, little brother's strength is not good enough. I really don't dare to poke. What are you afraid of? I will protect you. Yi Zizi snorted. Yang Hao-Ian dared to guarantee that if he were to poke it, he would definitely die. He wouldn't fall for it. Big sister, I'm joking. Yang Hao-Ian instantly admitted defeat. Rin Yao said in a low voice, coward. Yang Hao-Ian had nothing to say and could only admit defeat. The crowd standing at the side had respectful looks on their faces as they discussed in low voices. The people from Meridian Break Sect are indeed not ordinary. This aura. The person inside the palanquin should be the sect master, right? It should be supreme, everlasting sorrow. I wonder if deity institutions, autark Taiha, will appear. Aren't you just spouting nonsense? Even Paragon Everlasting Hatred has appeared, so there's no way Paragon Taiha will be here as well. Yeah, the scale this time is really huge. By the way, have you heard? Today, in a small workshop in the south of the city, there is news of pure gold. TSK. I already knew about this kind of secret information. It really is a secret. Yu Hua and the others who were standing next to them all heard it. Yang Hao-Ian immediately said, Big sister, I just heard a secret. We all heard the secret. Oh. The corner of Run Yao's mouth twitched slightly. This city of villains is truly interesting. The Meridian Breaking Sect was very ostentatious. Although there were only a few thousand people here, each of them had terrifying strength. The weakest among them was a spirit king, and the strongest was naturally the sect master, Everlasting Hatred. In previous years, the Meridian Break Sect had never participated in the Sky Arena. Perhaps it was because they had heard about pure gold that they had come. In order to demonstrate the strength of the sect, of course, they had to be pulled out and trained. Perhaps it was because the Heaven Arena had spread the news of the pure gold, but what had originally been a matter of Evil Men City had turned into a huge matter for the entire southern region of the Kangluo continent. Everlasting Hatred knew that the Divine Academy would definitely come this time, so he gave up on keeping a low profile. After all, when it was time to show the strength of the sect, he couldn't let his guard down. He had to let the whole Kangluo continent know that the Meridian Break Sect was the strongest. Everything else was trash. Everyone present could feel this imposing aura. The aura emitted by everyone from the Meridian Break Sect was enough to make one's hair stand on end. They could only lower their heads in respect. Looking at the people of the Meridian Breaking Sect, they raised their heads slightly. If they could, they would take the step of not even recognizing their own family. Especially when they looked at the gazes of the people around them, that kind of disdain truly permeated into their bones. Looking down on them, these trash dares to be mentioned in the same breath as my Meridian Break Sect? In this world, only the Divine Academy can be compared to my Meridian Break Sect. Right now, Kai-Yin was a bit unhappy as he said faintly, I really want to kill these people. They're even more arrogant than us. Brett said gravely, I have seen many arrogant people, but it is still rare to see someone this arrogant. Sai, thinking about the past. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't dare to think about it. Yi Zizi shook her head, looking as if she had aged prematurely. With a gentle smile, Yu Hua stroked Kai-Yun's hair. Flagmaster, don't take this kind of trash to heart. It is precisely because they are trash that I am unhappy. If it was an expert, I would still be able to understand, but I really don't know who gave them the courage. Rin Yao was able to understand the thoughts of these big sisters. Thinking back to that day, I was such a peerless talent. I wanted to make a shocking scene the moment I appeared. In the end, I didn't get to show off, and instead got F***ed. This was a lesson learned in blood. If the heavens were to give me another chance, I would definitely oversleep that day. At the very least, I would only appear after these women left. I regret what I did in the past. I regret what I did in the past. However, right at this moment, a clamor could be heard coming from afar. Everyone raised their heads and looked towards the horizon. A warship could be seen appearing in the horizon, and the warship was slowly sailing over from that unique symbol. It could be seen that the warship belonged to the Divine Academy. Right now, even the people from Meridian Break Sect stopped in their tracks. When they saw the symbol of the Divine Academy, their gazes carried deep hostility. Even Chong Hen looked towards the horizon, thinking to himself that this Tai, he is even fiercer than me. To even bring out this star warship, he is simply flaunting his strength. Shameless fellow, if I had known earlier, I would have taken out my warship to flaunt as well. My God, that is a star warship. The most valiant warship in history. I heard that it is able to withstand an attack from a supreme. It is so valiant. That's right, it is simply so terrifying. Weakly asking, just who is this sea? Everyone, the Divine Academy's warship, directly stopped at the entrance of the city. Tai could be seen being the first to walk down from the warship. He was dressed in an ordinary long gown, showing off the simplicity of Supreme. The entire team slowly appeared. There were no palanquins. Tai, he walked in just like that, giving off a kind of amiability, while Chong Hen was the exact opposite. Meridian Break Sect's team didn't move forward, seemingly waiting for the Divine Academy. Another bunch of pretentious brats. Why can't I take it anymore? Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Brett, who was familiar with Yi Zizi, knew that this flat-chested girl was very angry, and it seemed like she was about to explode. It's fine if she explodes. Let the heavenly arena battle begin first, and let's kill all of them first. Leave those two Supreme to me. I'll let you suck those little spicy chicks. Kaiyan said angrily, Why doesn't his honor come and act cool? This is a great opportunity. Act tough. King Yi was currently extremely busy, and he didn't have the mood to come and act cool. Even if he knew, he wouldn't want to come. After all, compared to acting cool, his mother's illness was more important. Yu Hua said lightly, Flag Master, could it be that you still don't understand his honor's intentions? His honor wants to trick all of these people into coming to his territory, then show off his formidable strength. Is that so? Yu Hua, I'm still young, don't lie to me. Brett held onto his forehead slightly. Yi Zizi is wearing a suit and his big breasts, acting young. End of this chapter. Chapter 1120. Kaiyan was probably the oldest in the entire team. He was at least several 100,000 years old. How dare he say that he's still young? I almost puked out my breakfast. Rin Yao was rather curious about who exactly is this his honor that they're talking about. To be able to make these perverts bow down to him, he must definitely be an even bigger pervert. Just thinking about it made my entire body tremble. I have to find a chance to run away. If I don't run away now, I won't be able to run away anymore in the future. But could he escape? He couldn't run away at all. Who asked him to step on his eyes and turn them into fried eggs? He regretted it so much that his intestines curled up. Why did the heavens treat him like this? Deity Institution's group gradually caught up to Broken Meridian Sect. Meanwhile, Taihi stood next to the palanquin, saying with a light laugh, Everlasting hatred. What is going on today? Did you get rheumatism? Do we still need to carry it? Everyone was stunned when they heard the dean's words. They couldn't help but let out a gasp. I'm sorry. I really can't hold it in anymore. He didn't expect the renowned dean of the Divine Institution, Supreme Taiha, to be so humorous. Only this sovereign would dare to speak to Chong Hen like this. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be sent flying with a slap. Taiha, pay attention to your status. Eternal Hatred, who is sitting in the palanquin, said in a deep voice. This fellow really had no filter on his mouth. For better or for worse, you are still Deity Institution's principal, yet you speak these words in public. Don't you feel embarrassed? Yi Zizi and the others thought highly of this Taihi. For these people who like to show off to each other, this was how it should be. This was not rheumatism, this was leg cancer. He didn't even want to take a few more steps. Tai chuckled, "Supreme, everlasting hatred. My identity is the same as everyone else's. I am a member of the Kangluo continent, and I am here to nurture more warriors for the Kangluo continent." Hearing this, the people standing in the 2 rows around them were stunned, and then there was a warm applause. The Meridian Break sect was indeed very strong. Everyone wanted to enter the Meridian Break sect to learn. However, the people who came out of the Meridian Break sect were all arrogant and looked down on others. Thus, the reputation of the Meridian Breaking sect was a little problematic. However, the Meridian Breaking sect still had a sovereign overseeing it. Even though the reputation of the sect was bad, there were still many people who wanted to enter it. Deity Institution's reputation was much better, mainly because of the good publicity. Just like right now, Taihee's actions received this type of applause. Compared to when the Heaven Arena ended, Deity Institution's reputation would rise another level. Chong Hen, who was sitting in the palanquin, gnashed his teeth in anger. This damned hypocrite was playing this vulgar trick again. He was simply shameless. People of the fake Tao despise such sanctimonious people the most. Go! Lonesome Hatred couldn't be bothered to talk to this person. He was simply ruining his mood. He had thought that things would be better because of the Water City incident, but in the end, he was still the same as before. Hypocritical trash. The Meridian Breaking Sect's team headed towards the City Lord's mansion once again. Taihee cupped his hands at the crowd. He was very low-key, and this low-key behavior was recognized by everyone. If he was still hesitating, then he made his decision right now. He had to go to Deity Institution. The tone of this Meridian Break sect is too high. I can't afford to offend them. I can't afford to offend them. Supreme, everlasting hatred. Why are you leaving so quickly? Wait up for me. You know, people really care about their face. Taihee couldn't help but say a few words. I feel very great. Eternal hatred. You have suffered a setback this time, right? Who asked you to act cool? The 2 groups headed towards the City Lord residence. After all, since they came to the evil city, they still had to pay a visit. No matter what, he was still a powerful supreme being, the type that could destroy the world. After the 2 groups left, everyone was still discussing spiritedly. Deity Institution was still the better choice between 2 powerful sections. However, there were still some people who felt that Meridian Break sect was powerful, just based on that imposing manner just now. If they were able to join Meridian Break sect, they would be able to hold their heads high. They are all hypocrites, Brett said faintly. Soon after, he walked towards the tavern. Easy let out a heavy sigh. This is so boring. When is his honor going to turn evil and bring us subordinates to sweep across all planes and turn the world upside down? Just thinking about it makes me feel extremely excited. However, how could his honor turn evil? Right now, everything is already a benevolent policy. Sai, let's go. We will kill again when the competition starts. Kaiyan placed both of his hands behind his head and walked forward. Just like Easy, he seemed extremely bored. These 2 people's acting cool was not worth watching at all. Inside the City Lord's residence, Mu Hong had already received the news that the 2 supreme beings had arrived, and he had already made preparations to receive them. Mu Hong saw the 2 figures walking over from far away. Mu Hong walked up and greeted them with a smile. Supreme Chong Hen, Supreme Taihee, your arrival has brought light to my humble abode. Supreme Mu Hong is being too courteous. Please rise. Taihee laughed lightly. Mu Hong went into a daze. What do you mean by please rise? I am standing while talking to you. Do you think that I'm kneeling while talking to you? However, when the people outside the City Lord's residence heard it, the City Lord actually kneeled down. My God, is Deity Institution's Taihee that powerful? Even the City Lord has to kneel down to receive them. This is incredible. My apologies, it was a slip of the tongue. A slip of the tongue, Taihee said in a low voice. Chong Hen, who was at the side, had a look of disdain on his face. You only know how to take advantage of these small things. How useless. Right now, Mu Hong almost wanted to make a move. This bastard. I came to receive you respectfully with good intentions. Yet you are taking advantage of me. That sentence at the beginning, that sentence was said so loudly. And now, that sentence was said so softly. This deity institution's dean is truly trash. It is still Changhen who is at the side that looks more pleasing to the eye. The two of you, please come in and take a seat. Mu Hong didn't have a good expression on his face. You're already stepping on my face. Could it be that I still have to welcome you with a smile? That's impossible. After finished speaking, Mu Hong directly walked into the main hall by himself. Changhen said gravely, "No matter what, this is someone else's territory. Give him some face. This face we have to earn it ourselves. What do you think, Changhen?" Taihe laughed lightly, then walked into the main hall. Hearing that, Changhen snorted lightly, then walked into the main hall. "Serve the tea," Mu Hong shouted gravely. Right now, his good mood was completely gone. Changhen and Taihe sat at the side of Mu Hong, and Changhen asked, "Supreme Mu Hong, come into your vile city today. I don't feel like what I imagined." Then, what did Supreme Changhen imagine? Mu Hong asked faintly. "Vile city, of course it's going to be filled with blood and flesh." Taihe added another sentence. "Barbarian land. Am I right, Supreme Changhen?" "Supreme Taihe, do you have any prejudice against me? If you do, please say it out loud." Mu Hong said gravely, "You're looking down on me too much. Do you think that my vile city is afraid of your deity institution?" Taihe smiled faintly. "Seems like Supreme Mu Hong must have misunderstood something. How could I have any prejudice against you?" "It's good that you don't," Mu Hong said coldly. "If Taihe continued to be arrogant just now, then I really wouldn't be able to hold myself back from making a move. This is too much of a bully. Who do you think you are? Don't forget." End of this chapter. Chapter 1121. This was the wicked city. By the way, Supreme Mu Hong, why don't we use the stone steel outside the city? Isn't this the symbol of the wicked city? Taihe asked again, purposely poking at others' sore spots. Mu Hong's heart ached. This symbol would probably be gone in the future. There have been a lot of people entering the city recently, so it's temporarily closed, Mu Hong said indifferently. This explanation made sense, so everlasting hatred in Thai, he didn't say anything. If they knew the stone steel was useless, they would definitely tease him. It couldn't be helped. At this stage, it was hard to determine a winner unless it was a matter of life and death. They could only enjoy themselves with words. After a long silence, everlasting hatred asked, "Supreme Mu Hong, I heard that the Sky Arena will use pure gold as the reward this time. Is this true?" Mu Hong knew that these people were here for the pure gold. Otherwise, why would they go through so much trouble? "Supreme everlasting hatred, I'm not very sure about this either. It's spreading everywhere in the city," Mu Hong said indifferently. Mu Hong said faintly, "I still want to obtain the pure gold. If I had accurate information, would I still be able to spread it?" Everlasting hatred didn't say anything. Those who could cultivate to the supreme level were all very cunning. If there was accurate information, they would have taken it for themselves long ago. It seemed that they really didn't know. "It seems that the Sky Arena will be a little risky this time," Taihe said indifferently. He didn't actually plan to participate this time. After all, he was the dean. Participating in the competition was a little degrading. Fighting with some juniors? He couldn't afford to lose that face. Mu Hong said in a deep voice, "The Sky Arena this time is indeed risky. I'm afraid some hidden experts will participate in the competition. By then, there will definitely be trouble. The appearance of the pure gold will be like a raging storm. After all, the pure gold is just a material, but it can probably only be used to refine one weapon. How are we going to split it?" Taihe said what the others were thinking. If they wanted to form an alliance, how would they split the pure gold? Everlasting hatred and Mu Hong didn't say anything. This was indeed a little troublesome. "Let's rely on our own abilities," Mu Hong said softly. Perhaps this was the best solution. "I like it." Taihe was the first to agree. Everlasting hatred nodded as well. The three of them knew that if the pure gold appeared, there would definitely be people fighting for it. Then they could justifiably stop them and take it. "The two of you, your rooms have been prepared. After such a long journey, you need to rest more." "Many thanks, Sovereign Mu Hong." The two of them replied softly before heading off to rest. Looking at the two of them leaving, Mu Hong really wanted to find a chance to kill them. They were really two pieces of trash. However, he could only think about killing two supreme beings. How could it be that easy? Could it be that he could stab them to death with a single finger? On the other side, Wei Chong and Tang Wei also heard about Qi Jin's secret information. The two of them were very curious. Why was this secret information so secretive? It actually came from the mouth of a waiter. Uncle Wei, is what the waiter said reliable? Tang Wei asked curiously. Wei Chong thought for a moment, then said softly, "We will know when we go and take a look at it at night. Regardless of whether there is or not, this is also a kind of clue. That's the only way. Let's go take a look tonight." Wei Chong nodded, although he did not expect this news to be true. By the way, did the couple react? Are we still going to separate rooms? Wei Chong asked. Yeah, we're getting a room, but there's no progress. Wei Chong drank a mouthful of water, then said indifferently, "This time, Yi Hong will definitely not go and coax them. Zishan doesn't want to put down her face." What do you mean by not putting down her face? She just wants her face. Wei Chong snorted lightly. Even if a dozen of these women were to be sent over, he wouldn't even take a look at them. Do women not want their face? So what if I coax him a bit? Male chauvinism, petty. Wei Chong snorted coldly and did not say anything. Tang Wei pouted her mouth. Uncle Wei is angry, but I'm not even angry yet. Uncle Wei, I want to ask you something very seriously. You have to give me an answer. Tang Wei asked with a deadly earnest expression, and she even sat opposite of Wei Chong. Wei Chong nodded his head. Speak. What do you intend to do with me? In the past, Tang Wei would feel embarrassed, but right now, she was already numb to it. She didn't care about how reserved a woman was and directly asked. Wei Chong didn't react for a moment and asked confusedly, "Who is you? Are you going to change?" Tang Wei, can I still live properly? Can I still communicate properly? Tang Wei felt despair. Why is it that even after so many years have passed, Uncle Wei is still so honest and straightforward? Could it be that he still can't tell? All right then, I will just say it directly. I'm asking you, when do you intend to do me? Wei Chong was confused, and he even stretched out his hand and placed it on Tang Wei's forehead. Xiao Tang, why do I want to do you? You are my wife. If his honor were to find out that I did you, wouldn't he be condemning me? And those underlings of mine, if they were to find out, where would I put my face? Right now, Tang Wei only felt that where would she put her face? Could it be that this isn't straightforward enough? Just what is Uncle Wei's brain made of? We are not on the same channel at all. What else can he say about this kind of thing? Uncle Wei, do you intend to let his honor and all of your underlings know about this? Do you want to do a live broadcast of this? Xiao Tang, why does your complexion look so bad? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take your pulse. Wei Chong had a worried look on his face, and when Tang Wei saw Wei Chang's expression, she felt despair in her heart. Uncle Wei, I want to give birth to a child with you. After hearing that, Wei Chong let out a light sigh. Xiao Tang, you are still young right now. If you want a child, we can always have another child in the future. Furthermore, in the entire team, other than his honor, no one else has given birth to a child. Let's wait a little longer. Tang Wei nearly fainted from anger. If Yi Hong is the most miserable man in the team, then I, Tang Wei, will be the most miserable woman in the team. Uncle Wei, I will make it clear today. I don't want a child. I want to enjoy the process of giving birth to a child. After hearing that, Wei Chong was immediately startled. Looking at Uncle Wei's shocked expression, Tang Wei felt that Wei Chong finally understood what he wanted this time. This is truly not easy. Do you still have to make it so clear? I am a girl. This is already enough. Girls don't want face. However, Tang Wei was about to fall into despair soon. Wei Chong could be heard saying gravely, Xiao Tang, if you want to experience the process of giving birth to a child, the prerequisite is that you have to be pregnant. Furthermore, the process of giving birth to a child is very painful. Back then, when your wife gave birth to a child, your wife almost lost her life. This is something that you also know. Right now, Tang Wei felt that the world was spinning. Heavens, can't you send down a bolt of lightning to strike Uncle Wei? It's normal. End of this chapter. Chapter 1122. Am I, Tang Wei, not sexy? If you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, 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 if you want it to be BG was talking about the process of wanting to have a child, but Uncle Wei was talking about the process of giving birth. Oh my God, what's wrong, Lil Tang? Did you catch a cold? Seeing that Tang Wei was about to faint, Wei Chong hurriedly held onto her. Tang Wei didn't want to talk anymore. She covered her forehead and said, Uncle Wei, let me calm down. I'm afraid that I might accidentally hurt you. Don't worry, Lil Tang. Uncle Wei is very powerful. You won't be able to hurt me by accident. Puff. Tang Wei felt that blood was coming out from her chest. Your sister, oh God, Tang Wei, will never be able to enjoy the pleasure of being a woman in my entire life. Wei Chong looked at Tang Wei, who was in his embrace. He really couldn't bear to see her so worried at such a young age. She actually wanted to enjoy the process of giving birth. Was giving birth enjoyable? Tang Bingyao was still a university student, so he did not even have this bit of common sense. Sigh. He was afraid that Tang Bingyao would get depressed in the future. Tang Wei wanted to say that even if she became depressed in the future, it would be because of Uncle Wei. Meanwhile, in another inn, LV Shu also received the information from Xiao Air. These attendants were probably members of the intelligence organization responsible for distributing information to clients. In fact, this was one of the benefits of the inn, a method to attract customers. It was just that Wei Chong and the others did not know about it. Tonight, a small workshop in the south of the city. LV Shu clapped her hands. He was very excited. Pure gold. If I can get my hands on the pure gold and pass it to his honor. It was as if they could hear his honor announcing to everyone right now. LV Liang, you did well this time. I want to praise you. Wow, this is simply the peak of life, the climax of life. Look at my boss, Uncle Wei. It is very rare for him to be praised by his honor. If I am able to be praised by his honor this time around, I will definitely become the envy of everyone. So cool, so cool. In order to get praise, he would stop at nothing. Wifey, don't go, it's too dangerous, Lulu said in a deep voice. Presumably, the two groups of people trading today were all experts. If they were to fight, the situation would be complicated, and he wouldn't be able to take care of them. The vampire sisters were very sensible. They completely obeyed LV Liang's instructions and struck wherever she pointed. Master Mage, why don't we go and show off tonight? Sun Fong rubbed against Death Mage's shoulder and twitched her eyebrows. LV Liang blushed with shame. Sister-in-law really knows how to tease a mage. So showy. If there was a hierarchy, sister-in-law would definitely be the god of show. GGG, Imperial Translation. I am a demon, not Xiao-er. Hubby, if we go tonight, we will definitely be in danger. We must act in secret and not expose ourselves too early. LV Lu nodded. Her wife was right. Very few people would know about such a secret, so they had to plan their robbery carefully. Hubby, you have to wear black clothes at night so that you can hide in the dark. Wow, my wife, you're so smart. Even black clothes can't hide my green hair. LV Liang touched her hair. It was hard. It was obvious that she had used too much hair gel. Yin Lang laid on the ground and was dispirited. In the future, he had to do something to make the *T shoveling officers more active. In the Meng family. Right now, Long Outyin had also received the news and was currently discussing with Jiu Yi whether or not they should go to the small workshop in the south of the city to do something. Outyin, it is better to be careful about this matter. Old ginger is spicier. Jiu Yi had been around for a very long time. This kind of information was not reliable. Long Outyin rubbed his forehead. It would be great if Teacher were to personally take action, but Teacher doesn't seem to have any feelings towards this matter. Outyin, what do you plan to do? Long Outyin pondered for a long time, then said in a low voice, Jiu Yi, how about we go and take a look at tonight? If there's a chance, we will make our move. If there's no chance, we will just forget about it? That's fine. Let's first see how strong the person who is making the transaction is. Jiu said gravely. Long Outyin nodded his head. Since it is a secret report, if I and Jiu go secretly, we shouldn't be discovered. Grandpa, Daddy, I will go and protect you too. Chu Yuxuan appeared out of nowhere and said with a cold tone. Jiu took a look at Long Outyin. What he meant was very simple. When are you going to finish poking the other party? It won't do if you continue like this. Long Outyin also gave Jiu a look. Don't worry, I will definitely finish poking the other party next time. Go and play with little brother. Little brother doesn't want to play with me. Chu Yuxuan said faintly. Long Outyin and Jiu didn't want to talk to Chu Yuxuan anymore. This is simply a torture. Go and play outside. Don't disturb me and Grandpa's discussion. All right, Daddy, Grandpa, the two people, Jiu suddenly said in a low voice, will that set of acupuncture technique of yours be able to stab someone to death? There's a certain probability of it happening. How much? 50%. Jiu was dumbstruck. To still not die even after that. This fellow's luck is not just ordinary. The demon city was slowly enveloped by the curtain of night, and because the number of people in the streets increased explosively, it seemed to be extraordinarily bustling. However, along with the arrival of night, the bustling scene gradually faded away. Especially at the south of the city, it was so cold that it made one's hair stand on end, as if something bad was going to happen very soon. Right now, Qing Yutong was currently looking at Yi Zizi and Kai Yun, who were wearing nocturnal clothing. Using their words, if they were to wear the nocturnal clothing, no one would be able to see them at night. Mother of Asterisk Kerr, are you trying to bluff a 3-year-old child? Aya, it fits too well. Yang Haoyin immediately praised because he was the one who suggested it, and he didn't expect that the two big sisters would actually agree to it. This is a good start. Who knows, Yi Zizi might even let me touch her, and if that happens, I would be able to get what I wanted. Yi Zizi's symbolic ponytail was already wrapped within a black cloth, and her face was also covered, only revealing a little bit of her eyes. Yi Zizi had no idea who she was. Kai Yin, who was at the side, was the same. While leaning on the side, Brett said faintly, even if you stuff more, it won't change the fact that you are a flat-chested girl. Big-chested girl. Say that one more time. I'll suck you to death. Brett pouted his mouth and leaned on the door. Looking towards the direction of Voidless Realm, he was currently thinking about Zhu Tian. I wonder what Zhu Tian is currently doing. I reckon that he is currently nuzzling those two women on the bed. When I return this time, I definitely have to properly reward Zhu Tian at least 1 month. It's getting late. If you want to go, then go. Don't make the matter too big. Qing Yutong warned in a low voice. These two are the ones who are causing trouble. Yu Hua, who was at the side, warned. Banner Master, when I'm not by your side, you have to take good care of yourself. Yu Hua, I'm not a child, of course I know. Goodbye. After finished speaking, Yu Hua and Yi Zizi disappeared from the spot. A small workshop in the south of the city, a black figure was shuttling back and forth on the rooftop. This person was precisely Qi Shu Wen. How could he not come? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:23. As the workshop got closer and closer, Qi Shu Wen slowed down to small steps. Qi Shu Wen turned around and peeked at the small workshop. With a single glance, his black mask almost fell to the ground. There were so many black-clothed men in such a small workshop. Were they all here to trade for the pure gold? There were too many of them. And that person on the roof? My God, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Didn't that waiter say it was a secret report? Why did so many people know about the secret report? Wasn't this nonsense? Brother, are you here for the pure gold as well? While Qi Shu Wen was still in shock, a voice suddenly rang out in his ears, causing him to almost fall off the roof. Get lost. After saying that, he changed to another roof. Long Outyin was puzzled. This guy is really hot-tempered. At this moment, Lord Jiu also ran over and laughed. Is this really a secret intelligence? Don't tell me they're having a black clothes party. Yeah, why are there so many people in black? We were thinking of sneaking in and taking a look at the others. We should have just walked through the main gate. Long Outyan said. This was the first time he had seen something like this, and his jaw was about to drop to the ground. Look at those black-clothed men standing at the gate and chatting. Are you serious? This is simply like a masquerade ball. Right now, LV Liang and Death Mage were standing within the group of black-clothed men. LV Liang didn't want to say anything else. This information was really accurate, but there were too many people who obtained this information. There's even a black-clothed man setting up a stall next to it. What are you thinking? He was even doing business. Couldn't they just snatch things properly? Master Mage, there are too many people here. It's going to squeeze me to death. LV Liang mumbled. GGG, Imperial Translation. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. Seeing that Death Mage was squeezing his way in, LV Liu hurriedly followed after him. In any case, they had to squeeze their way in. However, within the crowd, a black-clothed man was squeezed to the side, and he was about to get angry. What's wrong with you? Don't you know there are a lot of people here? And they were squeezing as if their lives depended on it. This man in black was Everlasting Hatred, the sectmaster of the Broken Meridian sect who had sneaked out. Because he had also received the information, he decided to come and take a look. Of course, he had to disguise himself and put on a knight's suit. He had thought that with his strength, he would definitely be able to snatch the pure gold, but he had never imagined that there would be so many black-robed men here. Even the nightwear was of the same style. It was definitely sold by the same merchant. Seeing some people squeezing into the small workshop, Lonesome Hatred also wanted to go in and see the situation. Since he was already here, he had to gain something. There were two short people in the crowd. Those two people were naturally Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. Facing such a scene, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not feel disappointed. On the contrary, they felt very interested. There were so many black-clothed people, and no one knew who was who. If they were to fight later, it would definitely be very crazy. I really made the right decision coming here this time. Kai Yun, what do you think? Yi Zizi said happily. That's right. I've never seen so many black-robed men before. Kai Yun was convinced as well. There were indeed a lot of people here. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. I feel like there are a lot of experts here. I feel it too. They were all lured here by the pure gold. Just what is this pure gold? Kai Yun asked curiously. Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Although I don't know what it is with so many people here, it is definitely not an ordinary thing. If we were able to snatch it, that would be even better. This way, it would also be good for his honor. That's right, but can the transaction still be carried out normally? No fool would make a transaction in front of so many people. It is very possible that they would be beaten up. Who knows? The person who made the transaction might be amongst the black-clothed people. Yi Zizi said faintly. It had to be said that right now, Yi Zizi had also started to use her brain. Looking at it from a certain angle, it was indeed possible. Everyone present were black-clothed people. If it was a premeditated plan, then they could completely use their identity as black-clothed people to make the transaction. This way, the risk would be reduced, and it would also not be discovered by others. Because everyone here were black-clothed people who would know who was the one making the transaction. Very quickly, two petite figures walked into the small workshop. Uncle Wei, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Tang Wei had already realized that she was going to be a virgin for the rest of her life. In the future, even if Uncle Wei wants it, I will not give it to him. Wei Chong said gravely. Seems like the secret report has been leaked, which resulted in so many people knowing about it. What should we do then? These black-clothed people actually started to set up stalls to sell things, my God. Tang Wei covered her eyes, unable to bear to look straight at the scene. Can we still properly snatch things? Can we at least make the atmosphere a bit more stifling? This matter is just like strolling in a market. Furthermore, it is a market where everyone is wearing the same uniform. It is not serious at all, and even feels that it is too sloppy. Xiao Tang, I feel that something is not right. Pay attention. Wei Chong said in a low voice as he hugged Tang Wei to his side, to prevent her from being taken advantage of by the surrounding men. Jiu Yi. Quickly look over there. Two black-clothed people are actually hugging each other. Long Outyan's lower jaw was about to drop onto the ground. Are they gay? They're actually hugging each other. Jiu Yi said gravely, I got it. Jiu Yi, what did you get? Long Ao Yin asked anxiously. Jiu Yi had a lot of experience. Facing this kind of situation, he would definitely have his own opinion. Jiu Yi said unhurriedly, the small workshop in the south of the city this time should be a type of masquerade ball that is similar to the masquerade ball that we have back at our side. In actuality, there isn't any news of pure gold at all. Look at how many people are coming and going. It is just like strolling in the streets. Jiu Yi, after hearing what you said, I also have the same feeling. Long Ao Yin said helplessly, this is most likely a kind of local custom. It is commonly known as a black-clothed people gathering. If not, why would those black-clothed people set up stalls to sell things? If they were making a barbecue at the side right now, Long Ao Yin, would not feel curious at all. Let's go back. There definitely won't be any results tonight. Jiu Yi said helplessly, I came out for nothing. Long Ao Yin nodded his head. Far away from home, there's actually a masquerade ball. This city of villains is a bit interesting. Long Ao Yin and Jiu Yi left very quickly. The situation is right in front of me. I have no choice but to believe it. Within the crowd, Tai was also wearing black clothes, and his complexion was a bit bad. This is also called secret information. Then what is called not secret information? Is there anyone who plays with people like this? I, a dignified overlord, was even tricked, and I was even tricked into coming here. To think that there are actually so many people squeezed into such a small workshop, and there are also those bragging people. Are you all here to snatch things or not? If you are not, then please leave. Don't let this place be so crowded. F***K. Those two black-clothed people are actually hugging each other. This is simply too strange. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:24. I should just go in and take a look. If there isn't anything, then forget about it. Tai squeezed in with all his might, and suddenly he felt his body being rubbed against. It seems like someone threw something into his clothes. The scene was simply too chaotic. I don't know who it was at all. There's so many people around. Tai took it out and took a look. It was a piece of golden leaf. Pure gold. Pure gold has appeared. Following a person shout, everyone looked towards Tai. Tai was stupefied. This piece of golden leaf is pure gold. How is this possible? Isn't this too easy? Also, where is the person who was shoved to me just now? This is a framing. Right now, everyone outside of the workshop looked towards Tai, and their gazes were all locked onto Tai's face. And the piece of golden leaf in Tai's hand was so unique, and it was even glowing. Everyone's face revealed a look of greed. This information is indeed accurate. Pure gold has really appeared. No one at the scene knew what pure gold looked like, and subconsciously, they felt that the piece of golden leaf in Tai's hand was pure gold. Tai had never seen pure gold before, but in this situation, even if there was a mouth growing on his chest, he wouldn't be able to explain it. Should I display my strength? Kill my way out? But if I display my strength, wouldn't that be equivalent to telling others that I am the dean of the Shan institution? A highly respected senior actually did such a despicable thing. If this news were to spread, where would my face be? Furthermore, is that piece of golden leaf in my hand? If I throw it out right now, it will definitely be fine, but what if it is real? Wouldn't it be a huge loss if I throw it out? Brothers, beat him to death. Someone in the crowd shouted as he charged towards Tai, and exult. While Tai was still pondering, the black-clothed man beside him already made his move. There's no other way. I can only suppress my Shiowan, pretend to be trash, and then run. Following the appearance of the golden leaf, the scene immediately became restless. The people inside the workshop all rushed out, and even the door of the workshop was kicked to pieces. And this workshop's boss is definitely going to cry himself to death in the toilet. Who did I offend to actually want to spread the news in my workshop? Qi Shuwen, who was lying on the roof, decided to watch first, then decide if he should make his move or not. He cannot act rashly right now. Moreover, there were many black-clothed men lying on the rooftops, and they all had the same idea as Qi Shuwen. The situation at the scene immediately became chaotic, mixed with the screams of the black-clothed men. Of course, There were also black-clothed men flying in the air, screaming. Everyone didn't expect that this person would be so powerful, and all of them surrounded at the side and watched. As a supreme being, how could he allow others to hit him? These were all subconscious movements, but he realized that his movements were a little exaggerated, as if he was invincible. This person's movements seemed to belong to deity institution. Yeah, I felt it too. F***CK. Even deity institutions, people have come to steal things. Simply shameless. He cursed in his heart. I didn't think too much about it just now, but they actually noticed something. This was not good news. After all, Shun Institution's reputation was extremely good. They couldn't let their reputation be ruined today. That was why he could only suppress his voice and shout, I am not someone from Deity Institution. If you aren't from Shun Institution, then what are you? That set of footwork just now belongs to Shun Institution. You can even see that? I didn't even move just now. You actually said that my footwork is like Shun Institution's. Why don't you go and die? You don't even know how to lie. Could it be that you are the Dean of Deity Institution? At this time, a black-clothed man walked out and questioned Taihe's heart sunk. You even guessed it correctly. Is my black cloak fake? Or do your eyes have the ability to see through things? Taihe said gravely, Deity Institution's Dean he is a supreme being. How could he come here to steal such a vulgar thing? You said that you aren't. Do you have any proof? What proof do I have that I am not Taihe? Right now, Tai was a bit flustered. If I run away, that would be equivalent to me admitting that I'm Taihe, but if I take off my mask, that would be equivalent to me being exposed. How am I supposed to continue living in Kangluo continent in the future? I am very weak. I'm not as strong as Supreme Taihe. Taihe said gravely. Then what you displayed just now wasn't weak at all. Taihe really wanted to kill this black-clothed man in front of him. This damned fellow. That was because I took drugs just now. Taihe started to talk nonsense, feeling that he was a bit out of luck. So it turns out that you took drugs. Do you dare to spar with me? The black-clothed man asked gravely. Taihe felt that the dookie within his body was rumbling. To think that a trash like you is qualified to spar with me. Supreme Taihe, with a single slap from me, I will be able to send you to the north. All right, please, Taihe said helplessly. For the sake of Deity Institution's reputation, as well as my own dignity, I have to give way. The black-clothed man shouted gravely. Look carefully. This fist technique of mine is called Mighty Tiger Fist. Every single punch of mine is filled with ferocious dookie. If you're able to block all of my punches, then you are definitely Supreme Taihe. Taihe, you motherfucker. Just this dog's hit Mighty Tiger Fist of yours. Anyone would be able to block it. What's wrong with me blocking it? If I fucking block it, then I am Taihe, then there are too many Taihe in this world. Chi Shu Wen, who was lying on the roof, felt that this voice is very familiar. As if I have heard this voice before. But who exactly is it? I can't remember. In actuality, this black-clothed man is precisely Xian Ba, and the one who planned this was naturally Mu Hong. After Taihe humiliated me like that today, I definitely won't let him off just like that. Thus, I call my son-in-law over and discuss the plan. After Xian Ba heard the plan, he was quite shocked. However, when he thought about Taihe's character, he knew that he definitely wouldn't expose his identity, so he directly agreed to it. Furthermore, looking at the current situation, this Taihe indeed doesn't dare to expose his identity. Right at this moment, Xian Ba shouted out furiously, and the strength of a spirit ancestor was immediately displayed. Everyone cried out in shock. I didn't expect that this person is actually a spirit ancestor. So powerful. Even Taihe was a bit shocked. If this person is a spirit ancestor, then this punch of mine is indeed quite powerful. However, I am an overlord. The toughness of my physical body is already not something that a spirit ancestor can harm. Only with this punch of mine can Overlord remain unscathed. Xian Ba shouted out coldly. Taihe really wanted to curse out at this black-clothed man in front of him. Is there a hole in your brain? Spirit Emperor is also able to block it. Do you even have a bit of knowledge? You can't deceive these little kids in the surroundings like this. Mighty Tiger Fist. Xian Ba shouted out furiously, then immediately took a step forward with his right leg, causing the blue stone to break apart, and the aura of a spirit ancestor whizzed out. Tai only felt that this is called a kitten fist. However, if I don't do something, it seems like end of this chapter. Chapter 11:25. Bang! This punch landed heavily on Tai's chest. Tai didn't feel anything at all. It felt like a light touch. However, the shockwaves swept through the area. Everyone could not help but raise their heads and cover their eyes. This black-clothed man was so strong. Pooh! Tai forced himself to spit out a mouthful of blood, and after that, he was sent flying. Xian Ba was stupefied. I actually sent Deity Institution's Dean, Supreme Tai, he flying with a single punch, and even vomited blood. Awesome. Tai he held onto his chest. Just now, I forcefully held onto a mouthful of blood, and it seems like there's a problem with me holding back my blood. F***K. If this golden leaf was not pure gold, then he would have suffered a great loss. As expected of the mighty Tiger Fist, it is indeed domineering. Tai struggled to stand up. However, Shinba exclaimed, after being hit by my mighty Tiger Fist other than Supreme's, no one else can stand up? What the F***CK? Enough. Do you think I'm shameless? Although he was wearing a mask, but he still felt his face rubbing against the ground. Can't you give me some face? Forget it. Standing far away, Mu Hong was finally able to vent out the hatred in his heart. In the afternoon, there were still rumors that I kneeled down to Tai. You shameless fellow, this old man used a small trick to make you suffer unspeakably. This son-in-law was not bad. He was bold and meticulous. Tai took 2 deep breaths, calming the battle chi in his body. He was so close to releasing the terrifying aura of a supreme being. This was caused by anger. Do you know why I didn't collapse? Tai said in a deep voice. Why? Because I also want face. Shinba nodded and lightly said, all right, you're a real man. Take another punch from me. Hold on. Tai, he hurriedly raised his hand. Are you done yet? Do you think I, a supreme being, am here to play with you? After receiving a punch from you, I'll pretend to fly backward and spit out a mouthful of blood. What's wrong? Are you going to admit your identity? Tai was also angry. He shouted, who do you think you are? If you have the ability, then punch the shit out of me. All right, apart from supreme beings, everyone else will die with this punch of mine. Tai, what the F***CK? Do you want me to kill myself on the spot? Aren't you forcing me to admit my identity? Then, you will be laughed at by everyone. At that time, that old thing, everlasting hatred, would also mock him. Brother, you're exaggerating. How is that possible? Tai said disdainfully. Why is it impossible? However, these words were not spoken by Shinba. 2 dwarves walked out from the crowd. These 2 dwarves were naturally Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. The one who spoke was Kai Yun. In this world, apart from the people in the team, there is no one who can withstand a punch from me, the Flag Master. When Xian Ba heard this voice and saw this height, a face instantly appeared in his mind. This voice could be heard even if it was reduced to ashes. However, as this sound rang out, Tang Wei, who was not far away, said curiously, why does this sound like Kaiyan? It's indeed a bit similar. Wei Chong nodded. LV Liang naturally heard it as well. Master Mage, doesn't this sound like Kaiyan? Death Mage nodded his head. GGG, the royal translator said sort of. Right at this moment, Yi Zizi said in a low voice, don't reveal your original voice. We are currently sneaking in secretly. When the time comes, we will be discovered. Kaiyan nodded his head cautiously, then looked at the surrounding crowd. I am currently sneaking in secretly. I can beat the shit out of you with a punch. Kaiyan lowered his voice by a lot. Xian Ba hurriedly squeezed into the crowd. This person is not someone I can afford to offend. Seeing that a female dwarf dares to come out and shout at me, Taihi felt that she is simply tired of living. Just how much courage does she need to dare to come out and say a word? Shorty, you can beat the shit out of me with a punch? Go back and let your parents hug you. Tai laughed loudly. He finally felt a bit better in his heart. That man just now disappeared. I finally let out a sigh of relief. I feel that the man is intentionally targeting me. Kai-yin, who was under the black mask, tensed up. This trash actually called me a shorty. What I hate the most in my entire life is people calling me a shorty. What Zizi, who was at the side, hated the most was people calling her a flat-chest girl. Kai-yin slowly walked forward and stopped 10 feet away from Tai-he. I will beat the shit out of you with a punch later. Kai-yin said coldly. You have already successfully attracted my attention. Tai-he had just suffered grievance, and right now, he was very arrogant, thinking to himself, in any case, other people don't know that I am Tai-he. Shorty, do you want me to teach you how to fight? Tai-he asked with a smile of disdain. However, Kai-yin slightly raised his right fist back. The name of this punch of mine is called Let You Die Punch. Under this punch, no one will be able to withstand it. Tai-he burst into laughter in his heart. This is even more amusing than the one just now. After all, this mighty tiger fist sounds very domineering, but this Let You Die punch is completely comical. Shorty little sister, even if you want to beat me up, you have to get closer to me. You are standing so far away. How is it possible for you to hit me? Tai-he continued to tease Kai-yun, completely unaware that he had already angered a little overlord. Kai-yun's personality was very good, and he rarely got angry. Now that he got angry, this time he could do it too. I can beat the shit out of you with the wind generated from my fist. Kai-yun said faintly. Wind generated from my fist? Tai-he felt as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. Using wind generated from my fist to kill an overlord. Haha, all right. Then let me see how powerful your wind generated from your fist is. You will be very satisfied. Kai-yin shouted out with a cold intent, and his right fist directly punched out. In everyone's eyes, this was just an ordinary punch. It wasn't even a bit of chi fluctuation. This girl is just here to be a joke. A cool breeze floated onto Tai-he's body. Tai-he looked towards Kai-yun, then suddenly laughed and said, Wow, this wind generated from my fist is so powerful. You should just go and hammer your chest with that little fist of yours. However, right after he finished speaking, Tai-he felt a pain in his chest, and his eyes immediately became bloodshot. What is going on? Why does my chest feel so uncomfortable? My four limbs became incomparably stiff. The chi within my body was actually running around crazily, and it was completely out of my control. Tai-he used all of his strength to raise his head and look towards Kai-yun, but Kai-yun had already disappeared into the crowd. Gradually, Tai-he felt that his entire body was bone-piercing cold, as if countless icicles had pierced into his body. The coldness that entered his body caused Tai-he to be in so much pain that he wished he was dead. After a long time, everyone felt that the black-clothed man had stopped moving. Everyone was very puzzled, and one of them mustered up his courage and walked forward to take a look and discovered that the black-clothed man seemed to have stopped moving. That black-clothed man stretched out his hand and prepared to take off his mask. But just when he touched the mask, his entire body actually turned into black particles and disappeared. However, at this moment, the clouds in the sky had already split into two. Looking at this scene, everyone went into a daze for a moment, and it was unknown who suddenly said, TSK. He actually ran away. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:26. Trash, he actually used this kind of illusion to escape. He only knows how to trick little girls. That's right. But this illusion is pretty good. We didn't even notice it. Yeah, he's pretty powerful, but it's a pity that he's a coward. If he's really the dean, that would be hilarious. Taiha's primordial spirit didn't even have the chance to escape. In the crowd, Xianba swallowed his saliva. That girl, he had beaten a supreme being to the ground with a single punch. Oh my God, just how strong would she have to be? Why was this world even more terrifying than before? Suddenly, he wanted to go home. This world was too dangerous. Xianba, calm your heart, don't panic. The old grandpa shouted from within Xian Ba's body. Xian Ba also wanted to stay calm, but when he saw Kai instantly kill a supreme being with a single punch, how could he possibly endure it? Moreover, that punch just now didn't have any clues at all. This meant one thing. The girl had controlled her strength to the peak. It was too terrifying. It was too infuriating. Why did the heavens create such a terrifying monster? Xian Ba believed that he was really dead. Mu Hong, on the other hand, believed that he had escaped with his body movement. After all, he had already lost face, and there was no need for him to stay. My son-in-law did well this time. I'll give him a good compliment when I get back. The people present all felt that it was pointless. That coward made an illusion and then ran. He was really trashed to death. Tai's soul screamed. I didn't run. I was instantly killed. All of you trash will be instantly killed. You have a pervert here, the super pervert kind. All of you have to come down and accompany me. Ha ha. That demon, there was no doubt about Kai Yun's strength. For him to be able to compare with Yi Zizi in terms of strength, his title of Flagmaster was not just for show. Unfortunately, no one was shouting 666 right now, and Kai Yun didn't even know who he had killed. If he had known that it was Tai, he definitely wouldn't have killed him. That was because he was the children's mission. He was also one of their enemies from back then. Killing him just like that was simply too merciful. Everlasting Hatred, who was standing at the back, only heard the voices. He didn't see the duel at all. There were too many people. He wished he could kill his way out. It's time for the auction of pure gold. Just as everyone was getting bored, a black-clothed man knocked on the gong and shouted. This attracted everyone's attention. Auctioning pure gold? Was he serious? How could a treasure like pure gold be auctioned off? Wasn't that a little too frivolous and careless? Qi Shu Wen still did not move. This show would not end so easily, and it felt like someone had set this up. Qi Shu Wen felt that it was better for him to leave first and not continue to get involved in these muddy waters. If he got involved again, he might not be able to climb back up. Something as rare as pure gold couldn't possibly appear just like that. Qi Shu Wen left without another word. Following Qi Shu Wen's departure, many people chose to leave as well. Something was wrong. The people who were slightly weaker all chose to leave. It was fine to just enjoy the gathering for a while, but for the auction of the pure gold, there would be people who would die if they were to watch the show. In just a short while, half of the people actually left. The remaining half of the people were not afraid of death. Although it was only half of them, they still crowded the small workshop so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. He saw a man in black standing on the roof of a small workshop. At this time, the moonlight was gradually sprinkling down, illuminating the roof. At this moment, everyone felt that this person was extremely mysterious. Just who is it? Hey, the one above, you said that you're auctioning pure gold. Please take out the pure gold and let us have a look. The people below shouted. Although he said that it was pure gold, he should at least take out the real thing and let everyone have a look at it. The man in black laughed lightly, appearing to be very profound. Pure gold. It is the best material for weapons in the world. It can even be used to forge rare, ancient, godly weapons. It is extremely rare. Who would bring such a treasure with them? Use your brains and think about it properly. Tisk. All the men in black couldn't help but let out a tisk sound. It is actually a trash that is talking nonsense. He doesn't know anything and is still blindly making a comparison here. However, the man in black actually took out an item from his crotch. Of course, I wouldn't bring all of the pure gold. I only brought this little bit. The man opened up his palm, and the dark night could be seen instantly becoming bright, and golden rays could be seen shining brightly. Wei Chang's expression froze. The aura that this material is emitting out. LV Liang's gaze sunk. This indeed looks like it. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun looked at the pure gold with curious expressions. They were also interested in this pure gold. Chong Hen's gaze revealed out crazed greed. So this is pure gold. Just based on this aura, I feel that it is going to be invincible. A weapon that is forged out of this pure gold would definitely be invincible. If one were to use pure gold to forge ancient godly weapons, that would be a complete waste. Pure gold is a material that is so rare that it makes one's hair stand on end. This kind of material is precisely used to forge legendary weapons. Hey, how did you cut the pure gold into such a small piece? Within the crowd, someone suddenly asked. The man in black said faintly, "What pure gold is most afraid of is deviant flames." After finished speaking, the man in black opened up his left hand, and a red flame could be seen burning on his palm. Upon seeing the appearance of the deviant flame, everyone's face was filled with astonishment. This person is actually an overlord. Changhen was a bit stupefied. This person's deviant flame is so similar to my own. Both of them are red in color. If I don't look carefully, I won't be able to tell the difference at all. However, where did this overlord come from? I've never heard of him before. Could it be that he is an expert from somewhere? From the looks of it, he should be an expert from somewhere. Following the rise of the temperature of the air, everyone knew that this is really a deviant flame. May I dare to ask if your meridian breaks sex, Overlord Changhen? I heard that Overlord Changhen's deviant flame is also of the same color. One of the men in black asked curiously. Changhen slightly wrinkled his brows. Could it be? Today, I am here to auction the pure gold. Don't say anything else. The man in black didn't admit nor deny, causing a lot of people to be puzzled. However, everyone somewhat believed that this man was indeed Changhen. In the entire Kangluo continent, only Changhen has a red deviant flame. Then, what are you going to auction it with? Someone asked curiously. The man in black smiled and said, "Use your most precious thing to auction it. Tell me, if I am willing, I will exchange it with you all." Everyone immediately burst into an uproar. The most precious thing. Even if it is the most precious thing, it still shouldn't be exchanged for. After all, this is pure gold. Your Excellency, my most precious thing is this ancient godly item. I wonder if I can exchange it for it. A man in black could be seen taking out a black Iron Mountain. Everyone immediately let out mockery. How is it possible for you to exchange for pure gold with an ancient godly item? You are truly thinking too much. The man in black said faintly, "Everyone, please don't joke around. Treat this auction seriously." End of this chapter. Chapter 11:27. Then, how about I use the ancient artifact in my hand? Another black-clothed man could be seen shouting out. The jade bracelet on his wrist was emitting out a strange aura. With a single look, one could tell that it was a good item. Everyone went into an uproar. To actually take out an ancient artifact to exchange for it. What a huge sum of money. The black-clothed man took a look and shook his head. Everyone went into an uproar once again. If you don't even want an ancient artifact, what else do you want? Your Excellency, why don't you give us an example? The black-clothed man said faintly, "I already said, it is your most precious thing." Everyone completely didn't understand what the black-clothed man meant. Just what is the most important thing? Time waits for no man. I have something that I can exchange with you. At this moment, LV Liang suddenly shouted out. However, she changed her voice. After all, this was a secret infiltration, and they mustn't be discovered. All of the black-clothed men looked at LV Liang. They were very curious as to what this black-clothed man was going to use to exchange for the ancient artifact. Right now, even an ancient artifact is not enough. Could it be that there is something better? Eternal hatred was thinking in his heart. Could it be that I have to use deviant fire to exchange for it? After all, deviant fire is much stronger than an ancient artifact. The black-clothed man looked towards LV Liang and asked faintly, "What are you going to use to exchange for it?" LV Liang said coldly, "I'll use your life to exchange for it." LV Liang had just discussed with Death Mage. This thing is what his honor wants. No matter what methods we have to use, we have to obtain it. Even if we have to snatch it, we have to do it. When all of the black-clothed men heard LV Liang's words, they all became incomparably quiet. This black-clothed man sure has guts to actually dare to say such words. Didn't you notice that this black-clothed man is an overlord? Furthermore, he even has deviant fire in his hands, and he would be able to let you experience the thrill of being burned by fire in a matter of minutes. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun felt that this black-clothed man was very cool to actually say such pretentious words. This is a bit interesting. Wei Chang and Tang Wei were very cautious. After all, this pure gold is something that we have to obtain, and even more so, we can't let others obtain it. Snatching it was the best way. However, Wei Chang chose to bide his time and see just how strong that black-clothed man was. It wasn't that eternal hatred didn't think about snatching it, but because of his identity. However, when he thought about how he was wearing black clothes, and since no one knew who he was, so what? It seemed that he would have to fight for the pure gold. He would have to see how strong they were before deciding what to do. Ha! You want to take my life? Since I dare to stand here, I have a fearless heart. No matter what crazy ideas you have, I will take them on. The black-clothed man was very confident in himself. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such words. With a calm expression on her face, LV Liang took a glance at Death Mage and suddenly attacked. The blue stone under his feet instantly crumbled. Everyone was shocked. This black-clothed man seemed to be very strong. LV Liang's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, she had arrived in front of the black-clothed man. Her speed was breathtaking. This black-clothed man was at least a spiritual venerable or higher. It was no wonder that he dared to say such words. But he was a supreme venerable, and even a spiritual venerable wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The black-clothed men, whose power was relatively low, thought LV Liang was a spiritual venerable. But the eternal hatred certainly knew such a person. Although he looked like a spiritual venerable with such speed control, he was actually a supreme venerable. He didn't expect that there would be so many powerful characters in this group of black-robed men. From the looks of it, those hidden experts are here for the pure gold. Wei Chang, who was within the group of black-robed men, seemed to have smelled a familiar smell. In that instant just now, that familiar smell seems to be, "Uncle Wei, we have to make a move as well. We definitely have to get our hands on the pure gold." Tang Wei said cautiously, "Look at how everyone else is already making a move to snatch the pure gold. We cannot fall behind." Wei Chang suddenly laughed lightly. "No need." Why? Could it be that we're not going to snatch the pure gold?" Tang Wei asked puzzledly. "It took us a long time to find any news about the pure gold. If we were able to find it, his honor would definitely be very happy. Because this black-clothed man should be LV Liang," Wei Chang said indifferently. LV Liang and Yi Hong were both personally taught by Wei Chang, and the two of them would emit out their own aura. Just a moment ago, when LV Liang was circulating his energy, Wei Chang had already sensed it. I didn't expect that LV Liang would also be here. Thinking about it, it is normal. If there is news about the pure gold, LV Liang will definitely come. Seems like Death Mage should be here as well. After all, this person is actually one of us. Wei Chang looked at LV Liang. This little brother of mine has already grown up. It should be time for me to help his honor. Is it LV Liang? Tang Wei said in a low voice. Clearly, she didn't expect this to happen. After all, everyone had split up to search for the pure gold. Let's just watch. It won't be too late to make a move if there is an accident. Wei Chang was still rather vigilant. Although he wasn't very afraid, in case someone were to launch a sneak attack on him. The pure gold was too important. They mustn't fail to obtain it. Tang Wei nodded her head. Uncle Wei is becoming more and more thorough in his considerations. Zizi, when are we going to make a move? Kaiyen's hands were already itching. This person seems to be very powerful. Yi Zizi tapped on the tip of her toes, then placed both of her hands behind her head and yawned. Let's see how the situation goes first. After all, the important characters are always the finale. That's right. There might even be experts among them. Kaiyen said happily. On top of the roof, LV Liang was currently facing off against the black-clothed man. LV Liang appeared to be very calm and not impatient. Because LV Liang was very confident, Uncle Wei had bestowed upon him power, and during these few years, he naturally didn't stagnate at all. He would train every single day, and on top of his original foundation, there were still some improvements. For example, this black-clothed man in front of him, he should be able to defeat him. It seems like you don't want to follow the rules. The black-clothed man said coldly. LV Liang stretched out his right hand. Experts don't need to follow the rules. Following LV Liang's words, the black-clothed men below began discussing spiritedly. Wow, this person sure knows how to act cool. That's right. He actually spoke out his inner thoughts. Those who like to act cool won't live for long, and sooner or later, they will die on the path of acting cool. Upon hearing LV Liang's words, the black-clothed man suddenly laughed out loudly. You? Interesting. LV Liang didn't want to speak too much nonsense and said gravely, hand over the gold, and you can leave. If you don't follow my rules, why should I hand it over to you? The black-clothed man didn't seem to be afraid at all, and when he spoke, his tone carried along a natural confidence. From the looks of it, I can only use your life to exchange for it. I'm afraid that you will be disappointed. My life, you might not be able to obtain it. It had already been a very long time since LV Liang met such an arrogant person. LV Liang decided to properly teach this person a lesson and let him know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. As his honor's subordinate, I definitely can't lose his honor's face. For an enemy like this, the single punch is enough. Huh, LV Liang shouted out lightly, and his duki instantly burst out. Chapter 1128. A terrifying cyclone spread across the scene. Although the expressions of the black-clothed people could not be seen, they were sure that they were definitely very shocked. This person is so strong. Just this aura alone. He is definitely an overlord. Yi Zizi was very familiar with Wei Chang. The aura that LV Liang released had a strong smell, and this smell was Wei Chang's. But Wei Chang's was purer. So, Yi Zizi dared to conclude that this person was either LV Liang or Yi Hong. So it was one of us. That's not right. Weren't they in the palace? Why did they come to this city of villains? And to snatch the gold? Did they come to complete the mission or to play? Yi Zizi was very curious. Wow, this person is really powerful. I want to fight with him. Kaiyan rubbed his palms together. From the aura, he could feel that this person was very powerful. However, Kaiyan was not very familiar with Wei Chang, so he did not feel this unique aura. Yi Zizi said helplessly, then you might be disappointed. Oh, why? I can't fight even like this? Kaiyan pouted. I can't fight here. I can't fight there. When can I fight? Can I still live? Why is it so hard to be a human? Because he is one of us. Yi Zizi said indifferently. One of us? How do you know he is one of us? Kaiyan felt that Yi Zizi was lying to him. After lying to him, he could go and fight. This kind of trick has been used before, but it is useless now. I, Kaiyan, have been tricked once, and I won't be tricked a second time. This person is either Yi Hong or LV Liang. I can feel this aura. Yi Zizi said softly. If it was a little smaller, she might not be sure, but with this kind of explosion, she could definitely feel it. Kaiyan was very helpless and said disappointedly, so if it's the two of them, could it be? I'm just curious. What are they doing here? And they took the initiative to snatch the gold. It should be his honor's order. Kaiyan estimated. Yi Zizi felt the same. Suddenly, Kaiyan said softly, then, can we pretend that we don't know? You're thinking of? Yi Zizi's eyes lit up. That's right. My bones are getting rusty from all this walking. It's going to loosen them up a bit. That makes sense. Then we'll pretend we don't know and fight. Yi Zizi said craftily. It had been a long time since she had fought. She didn't dare to cause a ruckus in the imperial palace, but this was outside. It wasn't her territory anyway, so she wouldn't feel sad. Haha, it's going to be fun, Kaiyan said excitedly. Right now, LV Liang was just like a deity that had descended to the mortal world. A black stream of light was emitting out from LV Liang's body, and the black stream of light was revolving around LV Liang's body, just like the special effect that appeared when leveling up equipment. He is indeed very strong. No wonder he dares to say such words. The black-clothed man could sense LV Liang's strength, but even so, he didn't seem afraid. Even the tone of his voice didn't change. However, such an expression fell into the eyes of Yi Zi, Wei Chong, and the others. After all, this kind of thing had happened before. Only when one was beaten up would one know how powerful it was. LV Liang was a little angry. This man's attitude made her very unhappy. Even if he wanted to act cool, he should know when to stop, but he still put on a calm look. Stop pretending. I know that you're scared now. LV Liang said gravely. Hand over the gold, and I'll spare your life. The black-clothed man went into a daze for a moment, then held onto his forehead and burst into laughter. Ew, why are you so funny? Why should I be scared by you? Is it because of your strength? Or is it because of your courage that doesn't care about your life? You. LV Liang was completely angered. This person actually dared to mock me. That is equivalent to mocking the entire team. LV Liang's expression sunk as he shouted out lightly. I'll let you experience it then. What is called terrifying. Pegasus Meteor Fist. LV Liang's right fist exploded out with a dazzling light, directly lighting up the night sky. A terrifying aura reverberated between heaven and earth, and all the clouds in the night sky instantly dispersed. It was as if there was only LV Liang's fist in the entire world. Looking at LV Liang's appearance, Wei Chong said slowly with a gratified gaze, I didn't expect that LV Liang had grown up. That's right, back then, the two brothers brought little as honor to the bar. At that time, they were still two ignorant, non-mainstream people. Tang Wei seemed to have sunk into her memories. In actuality, the happiest time was still that small bar. Being able to go to and from work together with Uncle Wei, being able to eat barbecue at night, and his honor would also host a gathering from time to time. Everyone would brag and ridicule each other. It was truly quite interesting. Perhaps it was because she was a woman, Tang Wei was very touched. However, Wei Chong didn't feel the same way. In actuality, it was the same everywhere as long as there was his honor. This green and red brothers are rather formidable. Looking at LV Liang's fist, Kai Yun couldn't help but praise. Yi Zizi said with a smile, the two of them are stronger than their strength. I heard that Yi Hong is afraid of his wife. More than afraid, he is simply like a mouse seeing a cat. Yi Zizi clicked her tongue. In the entire team, the one who was the most afraid of his wife was Yi Hong. Then, between the two brothers, who is stronger? Kai Yin asked curiously. After all, they were still not familiar with each other. LV Liang should be slightly stronger. Yi Zizi gave an objective evaluation. If LV Liang were to hear it, he would definitely be very happy. After all, Yi Zizi was his honor's direct subordinate. Kai Yin decided to fight with LV Liang. Chong Hen, who was within the crowd, turned pale with fright. This black-robed man's strength is probably above mine. Just based on this fist alone, I am able to pinch someone. Just how many formidable figures did this red gold bring over? Seems like the water in the south is very deep. Perhaps I should come out and walk around and pay a visit to those hidden figures. LV Liang could feel that his strength was rising infinitely. It has been a long time since I went all out like this. This sort of feeling of being out of control is really too good. LV Liang could be seen slowly punching out. Right now, the air seemed to have been compressed. An intense explosion, sounds could be heard from the surroundings. Those who were weak instantly bled from all 7 of their orifices, but they didn't die. Those who were strong could be seen bleeding from their ears. This fist is truly too terrifying. To think that even the air was compressed to the point of exploding. Die! LV Liang shouted out angrily. His gaze was merciless. However, the corner of the black-robed man's eyes slightly rose, and just like that, he directly stretched out his palm, and his palm faced towards LV Liang's fist. Furthermore, there wasn't any aura fluctuation, and there was only black clothes that were frantically fluttering. Puff! A slight sound suddenly rang out. This sound was just like someone farting. It wasn't the kind of loud fart, but rather the kind of very low fart. Everyone looked at the eaves blankly. That fist was so ferocious. Why did such a result appear? Chapter 1129. Logically speaking, this punch should have been able to blast the black-clothed man into dregs. Why did this black-clothed man block it with just a raise of his hand? Furthermore, there wasn't any chaotic flow of aura. What was going on? Everyone was dumbfounded at this moment. Even Wei Chong, Yi Zizi, and Death Mage were stupefied. Why was it like this? Why didn't LV Liang's punch cause any harm to him? In fact, all the power was absorbed in an instant. Who was this black-clothed man? LV Liang was now very shocked. Her confident punch was actually blocked just like that. Furthermore, he was using his palm. Furthermore, the other party had not even released his Do Chi. How is this possible? How'd he do it? You have the capital to be arrogant, but you shouldn't be arrogant in front of me. The black-robed man said indifferently, and his palms suddenly shone with boundless light. This aura was the same as the Pegasus meteor fist just now, but it was even more majestic. The man in black pushed LV Liang's fist lightly. Everything happened in an instant, leaving no time for anyone to react. LV Liang's eyes were filled with golden light. This man had actually absorbed the punch just now and turned it into his own strength to attack. This was an attack he had never seen before, because he didn't notice it at all. In an instant, LV Liang felt his right arm heat up. Wei Chong immediately disappeared from where he was, but he was still half a beat too late. A beam of golden light shot out from the black-clothed man's palm, drowning LV Liang's right arm and shooting straight into the sky. In this dark night, this long streak of golden light was as dazzling as a meteor. However, the pressure it emitted was terrifying. Fear spread in everyone's hearts. At this moment, those who could regain their senses all turned around and ran. This black-clothed man was too terrifying. Lonesome Hatred, who had come to his senses, chose to retreat immediately. Pure gold was indeed very important, but if he didn't have the life to enjoy it, it was unnecessary. Life was the most important thing. Wei Chong stopped in the air and looked at his little brother. At this moment, his right arm and right shoulder had completely disappeared. It formed a semicircle. If the attack had been on the head, if that was the case, then LV Lu would be insta-killed on the spot, and even Wei Chong would not be able to save her. LV Liang could not feel the pain at all. The real pain was on her face. He had actually been insta-killed by someone else. This is simply throwing away his honor's face. Thinking of what she had just said, LV Liang felt ashamed. In the entire team, there was no record of failure. However, just now, he had been defeated. Moreover, he had no power to fight back. This palm didn't land on his arm, but on his face. How am I going to face his honor when I return? How is he supposed to meet every member of the team? He had thrown all their faces away. At this moment, LV Liang's face was deathly pale. She was so ashamed that she wanted to die. The black-clothed man looked at LV Liang and asked curiously, "Are you sure you want to trade my life for pure gold?" Puff. LV Liang spat out a mouthful of blood. This was a blatant mockery. LV Liang's current mood was like dead ashes. Looking at her missing right shoulder, LV Liang clenched her left hand tightly. Suddenly, he slapped his own forehead. This gave Wei Chong a fright, and he shouted angrily, "What are you doing?" Wei Chang's shout shook the heavens and the earth. Even the black-clothed man revealed a surprised expression. LV Shu's left hand was grabbed tightly by Wei Chong. At this moment, Yi Zizi and Kai Yin had also appeared. Of course, Death Mage and Tang Wei were also present. Everyone looked at LV Liang. LV Liang could immediately tell that this person was Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei was actually here just now as well. LV Liang's stiff face became strange and a bit distorted. Men shed blood, but not tears. However, seeing that Uncle Wei was standing in front of him, LV Liang's tears flowed out. This is a type of guilt. I lost face for the entire team. What face do I have left to continue living in this world? What face do I have left to stand in front of his honor? I can only die to thank His Honor and Uncle Wei for taking care of me. I'm sorry I brought shame to everyone. LV Liang suddenly felt that his entire body was powerless. Death Mage immediately went to the side and supported LV Liang. Wei Chang's expression was very bad right now. My little brother was actually beaten to the point that he wanted to commit suicide. This is a great humiliation. After being in the team for so many years, when has something like this ever happened? Today can be considered as the beginning. Wei Chang turned his head and looked towards the black-clothed man. His gaze was ice-cold. For something like this to happen, I have to bear the main responsibility. Tang Wei looked at Wei Chang and felt that the current Wei Chang was very scary, just like a nuclear bomb that was about to explode. Xiao Lu, you were too careless. If you do this, His Honor will be angry. Yi Zizi said gravely. Just by hearing the voice, Yi Zizi knew that it was LV Liang. I'm sorry to everyone. LV Liang was very ashamed. He really wanted to slap himself to death. At least he would feel a bit better in his heart. With an ice-cold tone, Wei Chang said, bring LV Liang back first. Yi Zizi originally wanted to fight against the black-clothed man, but when she felt that Wei Chang was acting strangely, she decided to give the opportunity to Wei Chang. After all, LV Liang was Wei Chang's little brother. Taking revenge for his little brother was also a normal thing. However, today one of LV Liang's arms was actually chopped off. This was not just his own matter. This was a big matter that concerned the entire team, and even His Honor. If one person were to be humiliated, the entire team would be humiliated. I'll leave him to you then. Don't let him escape. Yi Zizi warned. This black-clothed man must die. There is no other possibility. Before Wei Chang finished speaking, everyone else immediately left. Only Wei Chang and the black-clothed man remained in the sky. Meanwhile, the black-clothed man who was standing in the small workshop was very puzzled. The group of people seemed to know each other just now, and they were even chatting with each other for a bit. If all of them knew each other, why was there only one person left? Why didn't all of them come at me together? There aren't many people who are able to make all of the 7 deadly sins come at me together. The black-clothed man looked at the man in front of him and asked faintly, what do you plan to use to exchange for the gold this time? Your life. Wei Chang said faintly. If the little brother is unable to complete it, then I, the big brother, can only do it. The black-clothed man laughed lightly. This again? My life isn't that easy to take. In my opinion, it is still possible for you to take it. True, you're much stronger than that person just now, but I want to tell you, I'm also much stronger than him. What happened just now was just an appetizer. The black-clothed man's tone was dull, but when he said it, it carried a kind of pretentiousness. To still say that what happened just now was just an appetizer, then what is the main course? Let's change to another place to spar. Wei Chang proposed faintly. In the past, Wei Chang didn't care about these things at all, but right now, Wei Chang also cared about the casualties of commoners. As you wish. The black-clothed man didn't cower and agreed straightforwardly. Chapter 11:30. The two disappeared into the night sky. All the black-clothed men felt disappointed. This was going to be an ultimate battle, but they weren't going to watch it. This feeling was like having your masturbation tube cut off, that kind of disappointment and depression. LV Liang was also brought back to the inn by everyone. The Blood Tribe sisters were stunned for a moment. When they saw that their man's shoulder and arm had completely disappeared, their beautiful faces instantly paled. Hubby, what's wrong with you? The sisters burst into tears. Yi Zizi and the others took off their black masks, and Tang Wei let out a deep sigh. The accident that happened tonight is really something that I am unable to digest. LV Liang didn't even have the face to face his wives. They asked him what was wrong. How should he answer? He charged forward with arrogant words, only to be killed by the enemy instead. LV Liang slowly lowered his head, not daring to meet his wife's gaze. He felt that they were so unworthy. Yi Zizi hurriedly contacted Qin Yutong. This matter was not an ordinary matter, and right now, Qin Yutong was the person with the highest position among all of them, so it was best to let Qin Yutong make the decision. Very quickly, Qin Yutong received Yi Zizi's sound transmission, and she hurriedly ran over to the tavern at this side. Of course, they came together. The whole room was filled with people. Meanwhile, LV Liang was sitting on the ground expressionlessly, and he didn't dare to raise his head. The Blood Race sisters were worriedly waiting at the side. "Big brother, what's wrong with you?" Yihong had also rushed over at this time. Seeing that her big brother's right arm and shoulder were gone, she hurriedly asked. Although it was gone, the wound was automatically healing, but it could not grow a new arm. LV Liang finally raised her head and looked towards Yihong. When she saw Yihong's concerned gaze, LV Liang was unable to face Yihong. Not only was he a sinner, he didn't even set a good example. After taking a look at everyone in the room, LV Liang slowly knelt on the ground. "I am useless. I have brought shame to everyone, and even to his honor." Qin Yutong tightly wrinkled her eyebrows. "Aren't we going to snatch a piece of pure gold? How did things turn out like this? Why did they come to the evil men's city? What the hell happened?" Right now, Qin Yutong was completely confused, and she could only ask Tang Wei, who was at the side. Tang Wei told the whole story. It turned out that her brother-in-law needed pure gold, and everyone came out to look for it. On the other hand, LV Shu wanted to snatch the pure gold, but in the end, she was killed by someone. Qin Yutong's expression became grave, and she slowly sat on the wooden chair. LV Liang's defeat wasn't just LV Liang's fault. If brother-in-law knew about it, he would definitely be furious. Right now, Wei Chang was fighting with the black-clothed man, and Qin Yutong felt that with Wei Chang's strength, he should be able to easily defeat the black-clothed man. This would be able to slightly wash away the humiliation, but with LV Liang being turned into such a state, Qin Yutong also didn't know how brother-in-law would choose. After all, this had never happened before. When one's underling was beaten to a cripple, one would definitely want to kill the entire family of the other party. In actuality, back then, Death Mage was also crippled by his honor. To be more precise, Death Mage's bones were all scattered. Wei Chang still kept this matter a secret. After all, Death Mage was summoned by his honor. However, LV Liang was different. LV Liang was his honor's little brother, and the significance of LV Liang was different. This little brother of mine was acting cool outside, and in the end, he got his face slapped instead. If this matter were to spread out, where would his honor put his face? "Let's wait for Uncle Wei to come back first," Tang Wei suggested in a low voice. Qin Yutong also felt that Wei Chang was right. We can only wait for Wei Chang to return before making a decision. Yihong had never seen her brother so depressed. Even when her brother was cuckolded, he did not look like this. From the looks of it, Big Brother has really suffered a huge blow this time. Right now, Zishan was also standing at the side silently. She wanted to make peace with Yihong, but there were a lot of people at the scene, and Zishan seemed to be unable to put down her face. On the contrary, I feel that the black-robed man is very powerful, Zizi suddenly said while leaning on the side. Kaya nodded his head. He is indeed very powerful. To be able to absorb LV Liang's power and transform it into his own power to counterattack. It isn't that there aren't such methods, but to be able to do it to such a degree, it is rather difficult. The two lowly girls who mainly focused on strength started discussing. That black-robed man is probably the most powerful person that has appeared so far. To be able to instantly kill LV Liang, that kind of strength is very terrifying. I suddenly have a new understanding of this Kangluo continent, Brett said faintly. From the looks of it, I haven't completely understood this Kangluo continent in the past. Yizizi's gaze was also filled with excitement. I wonder how many of such powerful people there are. It would be great if there were a dozen of them. And right now, Tang Wei was worried about Uncle Wei. Just now, from what Yizizi said, the black-robed man seems to be very powerful, and Uncle Wei should be able to easily deal with him. On the other side, when the two of them appeared again, they were already on a swampy land. To Wei Chang, it was the same no matter where he was, because the result would not be different. Right now, there was only one thing that he had to do, and that was to kill the black-robed man in front of him. Only then would he be able to slightly wash away this bad record. The place you chose is not bad, the black-robed man said faintly. He slowly descended and stepped onto the congealed earth. However, upon closer inspection, he did not step onto the congealed earth at all, and was merely floating. Wei Chang asked faintly, "Who are you?" "Me? I am just a bored wanderer. Wherever there's liveliness, I will go there," the black-robed man said lightly, as if he was toying with Wei Chang. "Then, your final destination will end here," Wei Chang said faintly. "This kind of humiliation can only be washed away with blood. There is no mercy to speak of." The black-robed man laughed lightly. "Why are you guys so confident? Are you so sure that I will die here? Or could it be that you are the same as that fellow just now, speaking without using your brain?" The black-robed man said faintly, fiercely refuting Wei Chang, and even said that Wei Chang spoke without using his brain. It had already been a long time since Wei Chang was insulted like this, and anger suddenly appeared in his heart. He was in a bad mood. "All along, I only bullied others. When has there ever been a reason for me to be bullied by others? I have always spoken with my strength," Wei Chang said gravely, then slowly raised both of his arms. Wei Chang's arms could be seen changing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye, and in a blink of an eye, they changed into two long and thick monsters. Rows of spotlessly white and sharp teeth with mucus could be seen, and when the teeth landed on the ground, green smoke could be seen. The saliva had corrosive properties. The black-robed man slightly turned his head and said unhurriedly, "So, you are not a human. Whether I'm a human or not, this is not important. What is important is..." Just when Wei Chang finished speaking, the monster with two arms directly attacked towards the black-robed man. The black-robed man immediately leaped backwards. Boom! A huge crater could be seen on the ground where the black-robed man was standing, and his gaze seemed to be calm, and there was no panic. Over 100 monsters sprung out from the dust that filled the sky, but they were much smaller than those monsters just now. The black-robed man's expression slightly changed. Looking from far away, it looked as if countless snakes were sprayed out, and the snakes attacked toward the figure in the sky, and the snakes even formed a huge net. "You indeed have the strength to do so," the black-robed man said faintly, no longer hiding his strength, and went all out. Chapter 1131. The black-clothed man's pupils suddenly congealed, and a cold, killing intent was released in the air, causing people to feel a chill in their hearts. The Do-Chi in the world gathered from all directions, forming a terrifying current, and the black-clothed man's entire body shone with a red light, making him look like a world-destroying demon god. This kind of aura directly caused the sky to change. The deafening sound of thunder rang out, piercing through the world, just like the end of the world. Wei Chang's gaze became strange. This person's ability is indeed out of my expectations. Being able to insta-kill LV Liang is indeed not a problem. But, gather! Wei Chang shouted angrily. The hundreds of pythons could be seen gathering once again and actually fusing together, transforming into a giant python. However, different from other giant pythons, it only had a huge mouth and those rows of sharp teeth that carried a fishy smell in its mouth. The black-clothed man's strength was completely displayed. Looking at the pythons that were surging towards him, the black-clothed man actually chose to not move. This made Wei Chang a bit puzzled, but he didn't take it to heart. Roar! The python's huge mouth closed, and the entire world seemed to have trembled for a bit. With such a bite, I reckon that even the sky would be torn apart. Formidable, the black-clothed man said gravely. Wei Chang wasn't too surprised. This kind of opponent might be the strongest that I have ever seen. Of course, excluding Nan Wuchi from before, this person's strength, I'm afraid that the difference isn't too big. The black-clothed man could be seen doing a split. With both of his legs resisting the python's pressure, he crossed his arms and looked at Wei Chang. appearing to be very relaxed. Wei Chang laughed lowly. You are indeed a bit stronger than what I imagined. Just a bit? Just a bit. However, the black-clothed man's expression froze. He felt that the python's mouth seemed to be, without any time to think. The black-clothed man chose to dodge. Boom! A black light could be seen spurting out from the python's mouth, giving off a very sticky feeling, just like a black menstruation. However, the aura and pressure that it emitted made people feel fear. The battle between the two seemed to have caused the sky to change. The entire sky changed from night to light purple. It gave people a very bad feeling, as if it was foretelling death. The black-clothed man appeared at the side, turned his head, and looked at his shoulder, only to see that a piece of the black clothes on his shoulder was missing, and there was even a black flame on his shoulder. He raised his head slightly and looked at Wei Chang. The man in black seemed to be angry. I immediately tore off the cloth on my shoulder. I'm very clear that this black object is corrosive. Wei Chang retracted his hands and turned them into human hands. You are the first person that is able to injure me, no monster. The black-clothed man said lightly, and the evil aura that was emitting from his body was still rising. The swamp began to boil, and countless creatures were cooked. The entire sky became even more purple, and thick bolts of lightning pierced through the clouds, creating a strange scene. Wei Chang said indifferently, No, I will kill you later. Don't boast too early. Otherwise, you'll end up like that brat. With that, the black-clothed man disappeared into the void. Wei Chang frowned slightly, and his figure flashed. Boom, boom, boom. The ground beneath Wei Chang's feet was smashed by a strange force. It was so deep that the bottom could not be seen. Wei Chang's expression turned grave. When did such a powerful person appear in the Kangluo continent? In the entire team, only 7 deadly sins and Nan Wuqi could compete with such a character. As for the other members, just like Elvi Liang, they were instantly killed. Just as Wei Chang was pondering, a red, deviant flame suddenly burst out from the bottomless pit below him. The diameter of this deviant flame had already reached 100 meters. Just like a flame that was spouted out from the ground, the flame shot towards the sky in a cylindrical shape. To be precise, the flame was preparing to devour Wei Chang. The temperature in the surrounding had already risen to the extreme, and the result of the high temperature was burning. Everything below him was ignited with raging flames, and the purple color of the sky was a perfect match for the purple color. Wei Chang understood how terrifying a deviant flame was. After all, his honor had grasped more than 10 different mysteries, and every single deviant flame had its own unique meaning. And this deviant flame in front of him, Wei Chang placed both of his hands on top of each other. Chaos Candle Spirit. At this moment, Wei Chang's arms rapidly expanded, as if they were being charged with energy. A terrifying pressure was emitted out from Wei Chang's body, and strands of black fog slowly flowed out from Wei Chang's body, forming a black net behind Wei Chang. However, this black net was not very orderly. It was like a kind of cell structure that was connected together, and it was currently devouring the Do Qi in the surroundings. Puff! A black essence shot out from Wei Chang's palm. The terrifying energy had already engulfed the surroundings, and the ground was trembling violently. It was as if the ground was unable to withstand such an attack, and was about to shatter into pieces. Cracks formed on the ground, and the ravine was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen, and it had even started to move. At this moment, one red and one black collided fiercely. At the moment of the collision, the air seemed to have quietened down, and there was even a ringing in one's ears. However, this feeling only lasted for an instant. A terrifying pressure instantly erupted in the air, and the shockwave produced by the collision spread out like blades, and the ground was sliced apart like tofu. The ravine was becoming deeper and deeper, and it was starting to move. It was as if the plates were moving. At Wei Chang's level of strength, destroying the world was a piece of cake. Every single attack from Wei Chong was enough to make the entire Kangluo continent unable to withstand it. And right now, the continent was already showing signs of splitting apart. The air was burning, and the space was collapsing. One could see with the naked eye that cracks had appeared in the air, and it was obvious that the space was already unable to withstand such a collision. This phenomenon appeared in the entire Kangluo continent. The entire southern region could feel the power that was causing the entire world to collapse, and the ground beneath their feet was currently letting out a weak groan. When ordinary people saw this phenomenon, they all knelt down and prayed to the gods for forgiveness. And when those who had strength saw this phenomenon, fear could be seen in their eyes, but also worship could be seen in their eyes. Thinking to themselves, when will I become so powerful? And at the northern region, one could clearly see that the southern sky was suffused with purple light. Right now, Yihua was looking toward the south with his hands behind his back, thinking to himself, what is Wei Chong doing? To be so angry, don't make the entire Kangluo continent disappear. After all, this Kangluo continent isn't as simple as I thought it to be. Yihua, what is this? Qian Yuqing, who was wearing pajamas, slowly walked out. That enchanting figure of hers was something that Yihua was very fond of recently. Yihua slightly narrowed his eyes and said faintly, nothing much. After finished speaking, Yihua moved towards Qian Yuqing's butt. Yihua, Qian Yuqing immediately jumped away. Come here, Yihua said gravely. Qian Yuqing pouted her small mouth. It is clearly an ambiguous atmosphere, and you want to make it seem like you're bullying me? Looking at Qian Yuqing, who was walking over with a wronged expression, Yihua rubbed onto Qian Yuqing's head. It is time to sleep. Qian Yuqing. Chapter 1132. In an inn in Evil Men's City, Yi Zizi and the others looked at the purple light in the sky, feeling this extraordinary might. Does this gluttonous monster want to destroy this place? Yi Zizi said calmly. Wei Chong was truly enraged this time. Yihong finally understood Uncle Wei's strength. Compared to Uncle Wei, she was simply a piece of trash. Now, Kai Yun had lost his former childishness and had become serious. Because for Wei Chong to treat him like this, the black-clothed man just now probably had a corresponding strength. But for something like this to happen, it was really hard to accept. Kai Yun's thoughts were also Brett's and Moonlight's thoughts. This time, they had encountered a tough obstacle. Qing Yutong let out a deep breath. Originally, I only came out to play around, but I actually played around with such a thing. Wei Chong had actually caused such a huge commotion, and the other party's strength. It had been so many years. This is the first time I've seen it, within a dilapidated temple. Lai Gu and Do Fusher raised their heads and looked towards the horizon. Big brother, what's going on? Do Fusher swallowed his saliva. This aura felt like Uncle Wei. Lai Gu let out a deep sigh. Seems like Wei Chong met with a very powerful person. Do Fusher was confused. Powerful people? With so many experts in the team, was there even a need for Uncle Wei to make a move? The others would be able to handle it. How powerful? Do Fusher asked weakly. Lai Gu looked at Do Fusher and said coldly, I can kill you with a single finger. Seeing the coldness emitted from Lai Gu's gaze, Do Fusher's heart immediately became heavy. Lai Gu's mood recently wasn't very good, and it was all because of this fatty Qing Su. He had wasted all his time here. He really wanted to see what had happened to Wei Chong. At this moment, Qing Su put down the pig trotter in his hand and put his palms together. Revenge breeds revenge. Let's shake hands, we're good friends. After hearing that, Lai Gu immediately clenched his fists. Big brother, calm down. Calm down. Don't be rash. Don't stop me. I will kill him today. Just a piece of trash who only knows how to eat, drink, and poop all day long. Furthermore, he still has that sanctimonious look on his face. I feel disgusted just by looking at him. Lai Gu already couldn't take it anymore. What's the point of keeping this kind of trash in the team? Eat shit. Do Fusher immediately hugged onto Lai Gu's thigh. Big brother, you really have to calm down. You can't kill him. Mother asterisk her. This is trash. Ching Su exhaled slowly and said, "Benefactor, if you want to kill me, I will not fight back. Let me return to the embrace of Buddha. Look at him. If I don't kill him, the heavens will not tolerate it." Lai Gu's mental state had already been tortured to the extreme by Ching Su. At this moment, his face was flushed red, and he was on the verge of going berserk. Fortunately, Fu Shi was at the side persuading Lai Gu, allowing Lai Gu to regain a trace of clarity. Otherwise, if he really slapped Ching Su to death, he would really return to the embrace of Buddha. God said, "If I don't enter hell, who will? Benefactor, do it." Mother asterisk her. "This is what the Buddha said, you idiot." Ching Su smiled and said, "It's the same, it's the same." Mother asterisk her. Lai Gu shouted out, then fiercely stomped on the ground. This dilapidated temple was originally located at the top of the mountain, and when Lai Gu stomped down, cracks instantly appeared on the ground, spreading in all directions. Even the walls of the dilapidated temple began to crack. "Big brother, you destroyed the mountain. So be it. I really want to King trample him to death." Lai Gu pointed at Ching Su and cursed. However, when Ching Su looked at the dilapidated temple that was on the verge of collapse, a dazed expression appeared on his face. That plump face of his was trembling. The pig trotter that was in his hand fell onto the ground, and his pair of tiny eyes became strange. Lai Gu did not notice Ching Su's strange expression and shouted out, "Carry this idiot away. Don't get squashed to death." Right after Lai Gu finished speaking, he felt a huge power coming from his back, and his entire body was sent flying. Fu Shi tightly clenched his fists, and his pair of eyes turned dark purple. His entire person looked just like a puppet. However, right now, the sky was already filled with boundless purple light. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Right now, the red deviant flame was still clashing with Wei Chang's black light. The surrounding ground was completely unable to withstand the pressure and turned into a huge abyss, and the terrifying pressure was even contending with the sky. Thunder. Suddenly, an explosion rang out in the air. This was the voice of the black-robed man. The deviant flame that was spat out actually carried the attribute of lightning. Crackling sounds could be heard as it revolved around the deviant flame. It seemed like it was going to counterattack. Wei Chang slightly furrowed his brows. He was quite shocked by the current situation. This person actually still has the strength to counterattack. This is a bit surprising. Heaven essence. Another explosion rang out, and it reverberated throughout the world. The color of the deviant flame actually changed. From red, it turned white. Wei Chang's expression instantly became serious. How is this possible? How can the color of a deviant flame change? Even his honor's color never changed. "White flames bearing sky," the black-robed man shouted angrily. The entire ground suddenly stopped shaking, and everything became calm. However, this calm was the calm before the storm. Boom! In the sea of innocence, a seemingly endless chasm appeared, running through the north and south, and surging seawater gushed into the chasm. The sea level of the Sea of Innocence dropped rapidly, and the tremors even caused tsunamis. Even in Water City, there were earthquakes at the bottom of the sea and volcanic eruptions. At this moment, the entire Kangluo continent was suffering from all kinds of natural disasters. Ordinary people couldn't even survive. The black-robed man's strength had already exceeded Wei Chang's expectations. The terrifying white flames and lightning instantly engulfed Wei Chang's body, straight into the heavens. The entire sky was replaced by white light. It was so dazzling, so terrifying. However, at this moment, in the city of the wicked, a chasm separated the city. This chasm even extended into the distance. The entire city of the wicked was filled with an aura of death and anguished wails. The people living in the coastal areas suffered the most. This time, the tsunami was different from the previous one. This time, it was a full-scale tsunami. The tsunami was as long as the Sea of Innocence was. This time, even the north wasn't spared. The entire Kangluo continent was currently immersed in the fear of death. When the people saw this phenomenon, they could only kneel down and beg for mercy. However, the merciless disaster still struck mercilessly. Compared to the north of the Kangluo continent, the south suffered even more severe damage. If in the past, Nan Nan's face was a handsome face, then right now, that face was filled with countless cracks. The two people who were engrossed in the battle probably didn't expect this kind of outcome. A black figure floated in the air. His face looked slightly tired, but he gave off the impression that he could still fight. Chapter 1133. Oh, not dead yet? The black-clothed man said faintly, but his eyes were filled with surprise. How powerful was Wei Chong? As one of the 7 sins, destroying the world was nothing difficult. And just now, he even used the strength of his body to forcefully resist the attack. But the current Wei Chong, under this attack, revealed his true form. The huge head did not have any facial features, only a terrifying big mouth with a row of fangs that looked eerie and terrifying, as if it could devour everything in the world. Countless tiny tentacles supported the huge head, and at the bottom of the tentacles, there were tiny heads that let out tiny screeches. The black-clothed man was very astonished. From that pair of eyes, it could be seen that this kind of monster, just what the hell is this? He remembered that before, Wei Chong had also revealed his true form, but that was only for fun. But this time was different. He was forced to reveal his true form. There was a difference between the two. For this black-clothed man to be able to force Wei Chong to reveal his true form, this was already a kind of achievement. Even if he died, that was also a symbol of glory. You are actually completely unharmed. The black-clothed man felt that it was inconceivable. This monster was indeed very strong, but under my attack, he actually only revealed his true form. How is this possible? This is illogical, Wei Chong said coldly. To be able to force my true form out, you can already be considered as a character. The big black net behind Wei Chong slowly merged into Wei Chang's body, and waves of surging power were continuously being transferred into Wei Chang's body. Feeling this wave of pure power, Wei Chang's body also gradually became bigger. The current Wei Chong caused the black-clothed man to feel fear. This fear came from the bottom of his heart. When all of the power was absorbed, Wei Chang's body already reached 3,000 meters. Those tiny tentacles were no longer tiny. The heads at the bottom of the tentacles were fiercely biting the ground. If Tang Wei saw Wei Chong like this, she would definitely faint from fright. The handsome Uncle Wei actually had such a terrifying side to him. Just what kind of monster are you? The black-clothed man stabilized his temperament and asked gravely. Wei Chong said indifferently, "Read more books, and you will know. In your next life, remember, arrogant. In this world, you can't win just by being big." The black-clothed man's face sunk, and he quickly formed seals with his hands. At the same time that he formed the seals, a surging and terrifying pressure pressed towards Wei Chong. But Wei Chong did not react at all. Demon Slayer Violet Flame. The black-clothed man suddenly put his palms together, emitting an earth-shattering sound. The purple light in the sky slowly descended. This was a god-destroying aura, and the savage pressure once again crushed the ground. Wei Chang's huge body resisted the pressure from the sky. This was also something that the black-clothed man had long prepared. Ever since he knew that Wei Chong was a monster, he had been preparing for this. This was also a precaution. He had originally thought that it was unnecessary, but from the looks of it now, it wasn't unnecessary. Fortunately, he had kept such a card up his sleeve. Purple light gathered, layer upon layer, tens of thousands of illusions, vast like the waves of the sea. There was even a suffocating terror mixed within. Landslides and tsunamis. It was just like the scene of Doomsday. Wei Chang's huge body stood between the heavens and earth, not moving at all. "What are you laughing at?" Wei Chang asked softly. You think you can win? The man in black didn't feel very good. Originally, I wanted to fight with you with my normal body, but from the looks of it now, forget it. I'm not going to pretend anymore the difference between me and you. Before Wei Chang could finish his sentence, the tentacle below his head suddenly turned upwards. It opened up its huge mouth. At this moment, the purple light wasn't something that could destroy the heavens and earth. It was more like a child that couldn't be defeated. Even if it wanted to run away, it couldn't. All of it was absorbed by Wei Chang. This chi of heaven and earth is indeed excellent. Yuhua stretched out his two tongues and lightly licked his sharp teeth. He felt that his entire body was filled with strength. The black-clothed man looked at Wei Chang and suddenly laughed out loud. Good, good, good. The three good immediately caused a commotion. That straightforward voice made it seem as if he, the black-clothed man, had won the battle. Say it. I don't want to die, Wei Chang asked gravely. It was also the first time that he used it to become so huge. Firstly, the opportunity was hard to come by, and I wanted to test it out. Secondly, to intimidate the opponent. After all, LV Liang had lost face, and as the big brother, I still have to regain face. The black-clothed man didn't choose to run away. He actually tore off his black mask, revealing an extremely ordinary face, but in the middle of his eyebrows, there was a black mark in the shape of a W. To be able to fight with such a strong opponent today, I will also die a worthy death, happy, delightful. The black-clothed man hammered his chest and shouted. From the depths of his eyes, one could indeed feel that he was truly happy. Wei Chang looked at the man in front of him with doubt. Very few people would be able to face things so calmly, and he was actually able to do so. How do you want to die? Wei Chang asked coldly. Today, this person is definitely going to die. The black-clothed man licked his dry lips. There are many ways to die. Are you able to grant me that kind of way to die? One of Wei Chang's tentacles could be seen slowly flying towards the black-clothed man. In front of the black-clothed man, that creepy head seemed to be incomparably huge, and the mucus on the teeth also made one feel disgusted. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. The black-clothed man seemed to have accepted his fate as he slowly closed his eyes. There was basically no sign of struggling at all. In front of such a strong opponent, struggling was useless. Wei Chang naturally wouldn't let the black-clothed man off. Without any hesitation, he swallowed the black-clothed man. However, after swallowing the black-clothed man, Wei Chang heard the black-clothed man's dying words. I'm finally free. This caused Wei Chang to be puzzled. Free? To him, death is a release? Was he begging for death just now? Shouldn't he be begging for death when facing a strong opponent? Wei Chang suddenly thought of something. His expression changed greatly, and that tentacle immediately began wriggling, as if it was vomiting. That's right, Wei Chang is going to vomit this person out. However, right at this moment, Wei Chang felt as if his brain was being struck by an electric drill. This kind of pain was something that even Wei Chang was unable to endure, and his enormous body actually collapsed on the ground, bringing up a huge amount of dust. And on Wei Chang's head, a mark similarly appeared. W. The purple light in the sky had already disappeared, and the darkness enveloped the earth once again, as if nothing had happened. Right now, the dilapidated temple had already collapsed, and a part of the mountain had also shattered. Do Fusher could be seen carrying Qing Su's enormous body, while Qing Su was looking at his dilapidated temple blankly. Qing Su's expression was already extremely sinister. Just a moment ago, Lai Gu was sneak attacked by Do Fusher, and after smashing through a few mountains, Lai Gu immediately turned back. To Lai Gu, this kind of collision was basically nothing. To be more precise, Do Fusher's attack was nothing to Lai Gu. Do Fusher. Lai Gu pointed at Do Fusher and shouted out. Chapter 1134. Choking with sobs. Novel, however, when Lai Gu saw Do Fusher's eyes, he suddenly thought of something. In the past, Qing Su had also used this technique to control humans. This could be seen from Do Fusher's eyes. You, Lai Gu pointed at Qing Su and asked gravely, "Lowly human, you actually dare to destroy my sacred ground?" Qing Su suddenly looked towards Lai Gu, and his tone was filled with dense, killing intent. Lai Gu hurriedly explained, "It's me. Lai Gu, don't you recognize me? Buddha will never forgive you. F asterisk asterisk asterisk." Lai Gu cursed in a low voice. "Are you crazy? Even if you're sick, can't you cure yourself?" Thinking to hear, Lai Gu suddenly sobered up. This Qing Su, he was indeed sick. This guy must have used him as an experiment. And in the end, he couldn't come back. This idiot. That must be it. Damn it, Qing Su said coldly. Lai Gu slowly retreated. This Qing Su is a rather special existence in the entire team. No one wanted to fight with Qing Su because he only knew how to use sneak attacks. What was the point of fighting with him? Was there something wrong with him? Qing Su, Your Honor, could it be that you don't even want to listen to his honor's words? Lai Gu shouted out explosively, hoping to make Qing Su calm down. His honor, my ass, go and die. Qing Su didn't recognize anyone at all. Lai Gu hated this kind of situation the most, because this Qing Su only knows how to shout and doesn't know how to make a move. It seems like he can shout someone to death. If it was someone else, Lai Gu might not believe it. However, this was Qing Su. Therefore, Lai Gu instantly disappeared from his original spot and ran away. However, Qing Su didn't chase after Qing Su. Instead, he looked at his broken-down temple and went into a daze. Also, Do Fusher, who was being ridden, was also the same. Lai Gu naturally ran back to Voidless Empire. I must definitely report this matter to his honor. That idiot Qing Su had played himself into a corner. In the past, he often played like this. This time, he would definitely play bigger. With Qing Su's strength, no one would be able to get close to him. Lai Gu hurriedly ran towards his honor's bedroom. It's extremely urgent. However, Lai Gu, who was in the midst of running, suddenly stopped for a bit. His entire body trembled for a bit, and then fell onto the stairs. Lai Gu held onto his chest, feeling very uncomfortable. As if, I'm going to reveal my true form. I must have definitely been poisoned just now. That damn Qing Su. Every time I fight with him, he would always use this poison. Are you F asterisk king sick? Lai Gu wanted to use teleportation, but his entire body froze, looking towards his honor's wife's bedroom. I can't transform here. If not, his honor, your honor, save me. Lai Gu shouted out in his heart. Right now, I don't even need to use sound transmission anymore. Just now, I shouldn't have run straight back here. I should have run to another place and see if I am poisoned or not. Lai Gu's hands had already transformed into dragon claws, and the sturdy ground was like tofu being scratched apart. Lai Gu was no longer able to control the aura within his body. Roar! A dragon roar resounded throughout the entire Wushu Empire. Right now, Yihua was currently ravishing Qian Yuqing, who was beneath him, but when he heard that dragon roar, Yihua's expression changed greatly. This was the sound of Lai Gu wailing in grief. Yihua instantly disappeared from Qian Yuqing's stomach. Qingya and Dongwang Baiji naturally sensed it as well. This surging aura actually appeared within the imperial palace. Qingya's body immediately disappeared from the bed. Of course, when Zhu Tian, who was currently doing an experiment, heard Lai Gu scream, he immediately stopped what he was doing. Yi Juetian and Ganyu also sensed it and hurriedly ran over. Right after Yihua appeared, people started appearing beside him one after another. Looking at Lai Gu, who was lying on the ground, the dragon claws on his hands had already appeared. There was only one word in Yihua's mind. It's over. Zhu Tian's head was also starting to feel dizzy. This Lai Gu seems to have been poisoned. Wasn't he at Qing Su's side, watching over Lai Gu? Why did he get poisoned? Could be Qing Su. Lai Gu, what happened to you? Qingya hurriedly walked forward. Yihua shouted out gravely, "Come back." A green light immediately shot out from Lai Gu's hands. God bless me. It's best if I can suppress it. Dongwang Baiji looked at Lai Gu, who was in pain, and especially that pair of bone claws. Dongwang Baiji tightly wrinkled her brows. Your Honor, I can't hold on anymore. After Lai Gu finished his last sentence, his entire body began distorting. Roar! A dragon roar once again erupted out from Lai Gu's throat, and his entire body immediately revealed his original form. A gigantic bone dragon appeared in front of everyone's eyes. At this moment, Qian Yuqing rushed over and covered her small mouth. It's you? Dongwang Baiji said coldly. Of course, Dongwang Baiji still remembered what happened back then. A bone dragon and a black mist figure. They joined hands with Ying family to attack Voidless Realm. How many people from Voidless Realm were killed by them? Furthermore, I even got injured by them. I won't forget about it in my entire life. However, today, this bone dragon actually appeared in front of me. What was even more unbelievable was that it was actually Lai Gu. Yi Juetian and Gong Yu looked at Lai Gu blankly. This is actually an undead dragon. Oh my god. It is actually Big Brother's subordinate. Right now, Gong Yu is truly rejoicing. This is what it means to be strong. Right now, Zhu Tian no longer had any thoughts. The matter has already been exposed, and now, it all depends on how his honor is going to coax his wife. However, this matter is not something that can be solved by coaxing. Back then, that was a real massacre. Both Voidless Realm and Ying family's people died. Back then, your wife loved her people as if they were her own children. Right now, knowing that the man she loved the most sent people to kill her own people just to put on a show. Your honor, this time, you are really dead. Right now, Yihua can already feel it. Although Yihua didn't turn his head around to look at Dongwang Baiji, he could still guess that Dongwang Baiji was looking at him with a questioning gaze. Even Xingyu was looking at him with a look of disbelief on her face. Lai Gu, who was flying in the air, slowly landed on the ground. This type of poison is actually a poison that takes the form of a poison, and by itself, it doesn't cause any harm. However, there is no antidote for this poison, which means that the poison will remain the same. Lai Gu lied down and leaned against the wall with a wronged expression. Your Honor, I also didn't know that I would be poisoned. If I knew that I would be poisoned, I definitely wouldn't have come back. Yihua was a bit afraid to look at Dongwang Baiji. When his lie was exposed, what was left behind was only pain. However, he had no choice but to face it. Yihua took a deep breath, then slowly turned his body around and looked towards Dongwang Baiji. Right now, Dongwang Baiji's complexion had become pale, and her complexion had lost its usual color. However, Dongwang Baiji's hand was mercilessly slapped away by Dongwang Baiji. Don't touch me. Jueqian and Gong Yu didn't know that their sister-in-law would become like this, and even Qian Yuqing had a puzzled look on her face. Could it be that it is because of the appearance of the undead? Baiji, listen to my explanation, Yihua said hurriedly. However, what he said was also a disguised admission. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertisement that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.